Astraeos might be one of the most beautiful maps Ark has ever seen. Inspired by Greek mythology, it launched with only a fraction of the world complete. But over time, new biomes, creatures, and bosses were added, transforming it into a true behemoth. To conquer it, I'd have to explore its wonders, build a base worthy of a hero, and defeat the many bosses, and I mean many bosses of this place. And I'd have to do it all in 100 days. I'm Fynixmech, and this is 100 Days in Ark Astraeos. Day 1, I started my adventure on the bright, beautiful beaches of Corinthos. I'm probably going to butcher a lot of these names, so buckle up. Like every Ark adventure, I started by punching trees, making tools, and throwing together what could generously be described as a house. I was completely lost on what direction to go in, but I was leveling up quite quickly from crafting my clothes. And then I encountered my old nemesis.
140 every time!
Yes, the beach dilo.
Why did I automatically run?
I took this one out with a few well-placed stabs to the face. Got some meat and hide from the kill, then feeling confident, I picked a fight with another one, and this happened.
20.
Yeah, we good.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh! I didn't know he was gonna run out of spear like that. Hit him in the head with the pick! With the pick! With the pick! Oh, we almost dead. We almost dead.
Okay, we did it.
Yes!
Well, I still came out victorious. I then needed to make some boxes since I was starting to get weighed down. I also made some dilo skin boots to keep my tootsies protected from the hot sand. I wanted to get more levels quickly, so I made a mortar and pestle to start crafting some spark powder. I made myself a campfire and cooked up some meat. I had a half-done hut and a barbecue going. I was doing great. I wanted to explore, but it was becoming night soon. Normally I'm cautious about the night, but I wanted to get out. I stumbled my way through some bushes to come across some dodos I killed for more hide and meat. I also claimed one of the babies.
We start Phoenix's orphanage for wayward kids.
The temperature dropped so much I was starting to lose health.
Oh, it's cold. It's cold. Oh.
So I was going to have to make it back the way I came along with the little baby, which I felt like I should have just been able to pick up. Like, I can pick up a full-grown one, why can't I pick up the baby? Guess these babies be dense.
Oh no. How slow that is. This baby's gonna be grown by the time we get back.
On my way back, I heard some noises I wasn't too excited to hear.
I couldn't. Ooh, oh, okay. Do you have friends? It's just a shadow. I got it.
That was a close one, little baby. We're going to have to be more cautious about where we're going in the dark. So I cautiously crept about with bolas in hand. In the early morning hours of day 2, I got lost on my way back, and I also lost my new dodo.
Okay, somehow we got turned around, and now we're on a cliff?
Baby. Where's the baby at? Panic was limited as I soon found my hut and found my little baby Knievel climbing down a hill.
Oh, you're angry. What does that mean? Angry dodo.
With this crazy angry dodo around, nothing could stop us.
It's Trash Bird. Trash Bird, no! Wait, did he snatch the baby? Where's the baby? No! You killed the baby! Are you kidding me? What's going in slow motion? What is this? This piece of poop. He literally just dove bombed the baby.
It's because I didn't name it. It wasn't powerful enough, so make sure to always name your dinos.
And then he left!
Apparently it's ghetto around these parts, so I needed to put down a bed and finish off the rest of my hut.
There we go, nice and cozy.
Speaking of, there was a dilo battling me for this spot on the beach. I took it out and now I got myself a new kit. To avoid the mistake from before, I fed it parts of its mom and I named him Slate. Can't raise a baby on parts of his mom alone, so I was going to need to find some more creatures I could easily kill for meat, which had me stumble upon this dodo family. I needed more babies for the orphanage, so you guys gotta go. I had all the kids meet each other and I heard the trash bird terrorizing my beach again.
Oh, go on a walk. Don't eat your new brother and sister.
I spent more time than I'd like to admit trying to shoot this guy down like I was Hawkeye or something. Okay, since I couldn't get him, we gotta lock him up. I wanted to explore on day 3, so I made a raft along with some hide armor and set sail across this massive sea. I found huge, maybe friendly turtles and a town under the sea. It took me almost a whole day to cross and I found myself at the edge of a volcano island with a lot of bad things. I want no part of this or any other bad. It was smoky and foggy here, time to go somewhere a little brighter, like this island. It was peaceful with pretty purple crystals I could gather. This island was full of horses. This was much more my speed at the moment, and I found a 140 horse. This would be a great tame for some clobbering dinos into submission. I didn't have carrots, but I could berry tame it. I had to be a little sneaky when trying to give it a berry. I kind of fudged up the taming at first because every time I tame horses, I seem to forget how to actually do it. You have to remember to feed it while you ride it as well. If not, well, it kicks you off. I had to wait for it to chill out before attempting this again. It only gave 1% for a berry though, so I was going to need to collect a lot more. I attempted to approach it again on day 4, and I found that if this one freaks out, they all freak out. Ah, no! It didn't take long to calm down again, and I fed him the berry and hopped on.
Here we go.
One berry at a time to gain his trust. Only 97 more. I got hot.
I don't want to get off of this guy. But I'm very hot. So that didn't help at all.
Then thirsty.
So I think I can do this. Yeah, I can do this. Let me go over here real quick. Oh no. Now he's spooked. Now he's spooked. Oh no, it's going down. Get back up here. Come on, horse.
I'm messing all this up. But I've come too far now, and I was going to ride this out. All the way through the night and into day 5.
You know what? If you ever need to ground yourself and get a sense of calm, berry tame yourself a horse. A high level one at that.
And that's when I found out the answer to one of life's great mysteries. How many berries does it take to get a horse to like you? 100. 100 berries. Go tell your friends. Now that I have a mobile tamer, I need something to make me a little bit more mobile. And that would be in the form of this Greek ship. I needed cementing paste for it, which I could craft, or I thought I could craft with the horse's saddle. But I needed to make it in the smithy, so I'd have to head back home. Before I left, I wanted to check something out with all these Ovis running around.
There was some Ovis running around here. Is it you? No. And then the horses are all scared now. We've been hanging out best buddies for the last 2 days.
I wanted to do a quick look around to see if there was anything else interesting, and I ran into a serious boss situation.
The Ovis, garden or something. The valley. What are you doing? Oh! He's a boss? Is that a boss? Karali. What do we get if we fight Karali? Let's fight Karali. Let's see. Alright, don't knock my horse out. Don't knock my horse out. Don't knock my horse out. We killed Karali!
This is my monument now.
Alright, what does Karali give us? Nothing. Why does this Ovis have a name? That's so odd. I would assume you only give raw meat? You don't even give prime? Oh, Karali's not even a good Ovis here. And on this island with all the Ovis monuments, lives an Ovis named Karali that gives the basic stuff. So, yeah.
I loaded up my horse on my raft and I made my way back home. I stopped to check out another island with a giant woman on it.
We got some cactus, which is great. There's a lot of cacti everywhere.
Once I reached the top of the island, there was a statue and plants that gave rare flowers and plants that only gave fiber, which is also kind of nice. Once I got back to my base, I needed to make it slightly bigger so I could work out of it. I expanded my base by 1 more cube, then placed down my forge to get the metal cooking. 5 ingots later, I got the smithy craft and placed. And in my usual fashion, while I waited for the metal to smelt, I got distracted by other things. This time, I was checking out all the Astraeos themed skins I had.
Oh, this is nice. This is nice. Maybe we do the one with the cape, though. I'm gonna do the feathers ones, because the Phoenix. Some boots that you can't really see. We got some Jesus sandals on. Those ones look like I'm going to bed. Let's get some durable ones on.
I was making some metal tools on the early morning of day 6, and I heard some noises. I went outside to be greeted by a parasaur just moseying around in my front yard. I needed a berry gatherer. Well, I guess horses can do it too, but just not that well. Plus, his parasaur was a high level, and I just wanted to tame something for real, not just by giving it 1,000 berries. I bolted it, and I proceeded to knock it out with my horse.
Are you about to die, though? No! Why were you acting like that, then?
Since it was right outside my hut, I left it to tame up with some berries, and I went on to play with some of the structure skins.
And it makes it look like I'm fancy, even though I'm not. Now I look like I have a super fancy house, even though it's only made out of thatch. And in that amount of time, the Parasaur is up. Look at that.
I wanted to start working towards this ship, but it was going to need a lot of cementing paste for me. Fortunately for me, this unfortunate turtle crossed my path, so I proceeded to knock it out and kill it for keratin and hide. I only got 27 keratin from it, but it's a start.
27, and we need 400. Yes, this is going to take a very long time.
I was seeing more creatures pop on the beach now. The god of chitin heard my call and blessed me with a trilobite, giving me a little over 100 from one. Trilobites is where it's at, but it didn't stop me from taking out any of the turtles I saw as well. I felt a little bad about this one. These kids sat here watching me slowly murder their concussed out dad, so naturally I had to take them in and raise them as my own. I was adding more orphans to the orphanage by taking out this oviraptor. I wasn't sure where the future dino projects would take me, but these guys are great at holding the mass amount of eggs you'll get. That was enough babies to worry about for now, as I needed to bring them back safely. And they all got little stub legs, so this was going to take a while getting them back. I also had enough to make the equi saddle, which means I could have a mobile mortar and pestle. I continued my hunt for turtles and bugs and made cementing paste as I ran along. The name Captain Stompy seemed fitting for this horse. On day 7, I came up on a family of high-level stegos. Stegos are slow, but tanky, good at dealing with oncoming threats as well as having the benefit of gathering wood, thatch, and berries. I was considering this tame, but the task at hand was get enough resources for paste to make the ship. I was also having fun exploring and pushing out a bit further, so I put a pin in it for now as they'd probably be safe enough I could come back to later. I started heading up this pathway. Usually going up can lead to some bad things, but it can also lead to metal, which I was in desperate need of. As I made my way up, I found some obsidian, which I didn't need at the moment, but would be good to grab for some future use. As I got to the top, I started to see Argies, which meant this was now the bad part of the neighborhood. And as soon as I said that, I got spooked by a fight right next to me.
Don't mess with that. Ooh!
I ran away, but I needed to know if there was metal up there. So once I collected myself, I made a mad dash to see if I could get some.
You're risking it for some biscuits? Oh, there's lots of bad stuff. I'm pretty sure this is metal, though.
There were the usual baddie mountain dinos like sabers and carnos. I managed to catch the attention of one.
I want to say I'm like 60% sure that's metal. Or it could just be weird rocks. No, that one's definitely metal there. Oh, no, no, no. 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 Okay. Get little arms. Come on, get distracted, man. Go somewhere else.
I somehow managed to escape getting chomped on only to find myself lost.
I lost the path. I don't know where the path is at.
So the only logical thing to do was for me to jump off the side and swim back to the beach I once knew. I continued my pace grind once I was back at base by bashing away at all the nearby rocks. Doing so gave me little bits of metal which I smelted. Even with that, I was not looking so hot on the metal front. I had seen a tech stego in my travels, and if I could take one out, I could get scrap metal, which has the perk of only needing one scrap metal per piece of metal ingot as opposed to the regular 2 pieces of metal to get 1 ingot. I was a little cautious since I wasn't sure if they could stab me and hold me like a regular stego. Only one way to find out.
I don't think they have the attack. Do they have the stabby attack? Oh, he's stabbing me, all right. Okay.
I did get stabbed and knocked off my mount, but Captain Stompy broke his robot brain into scrap. I was hoping to get the last remaining pieces I needed.
We are almost there. Trike, get out of my face, man. Don't start. 145 Trike. Look at this. See, there's the high levels I was talking about. Trike, what do you want? You friends with this guy? Come on, man. You gotta go. Because then you're gonna get all mad if I hit you by accident. All right, please give me enough. You kidding me? I'm just gonna pick the rest of them. I'm gonna go back because it's like I almost had to go through half the island trying to get this guy.
So while my 7 scraps were cooking, I picked my way into stability by banging up all the small little rocks. After hours of doing this, I got a gift.
Oh man, we got a 145 right here. I gotta get it.
A 145 Pteranodon landed, so I bolted and proceeded to stomp them out. I only had raw meat to give it, so this was going to take a while, but at least I had a flyer. On day 8, I found a random baby dodo wandering around that was shortly introduced to the end of my spear. With that, I got some prime meat to feed to the Pteranodon. While I continued to wait for them to tame up, I started splitting some meat for spoiled meat to eventually make some narcotics for taming. The horse was great, but ammo was going to be needed soon as well. The Pteranodon popped up soon after, but I was still 9 levels off from being able to make the saddle. But at least now I didn't have to go looking for a high-level Pteranodon. After all this time, I was finally able to craft my Greek ship, and this was going to be my first time seeing this bad boy.
We're stuck in it. Look at this thing. This thing is insane. I can fit all the babies on this thing.
This thing was enormous. This could be a base in itself, and I had to see if you could build on it.
All right, so can you build on it? Yes, you can. Wow. That's crazy.
Opened up a whole new world to me, deciding whether I wanted to keep exploring or gathering up more before setting out. One thing was certain, I had to get this tech parasaur running about for metal before my attention span got the best of me.
I just need to do this just because of the stego. I need to see what you're going to give me, because I only got 7 scrap metal from a whole stego. How much will a tech parasaur give me? 3. I swear that used to be more.
Maybe the tech dinos weren't the way for metal. Turning my attention back towards the boat, I was going to need to build a ramp so my dinos could get up and down. I also added a little bit of storage. I wanted to check out some of the nearby islands for metal, so I set sail on this behemoth of a ship with Captain Stompy and the Pteranodon in tow.
This island, what's it full of? What's it full of? Any metal? No, just dilos.
I wasn't really finding the metal I was looking for, so I went back home to use the metal I had to craft a crossbow. Then used Captain Stompy to gather some berries and to make narcotics for trank arrows. Before I set off to find a more permanent base location, I wanted to visit the family of stegos I saw a couple days ago. So I went searching out in the night, finding out something unusual about tech dinos.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe this is a thing! I've never seen this! There's a little tech dino. It's a little tech baby. How did you do that? Did you pop out a computer chip and then you had a little baby?
Shortly after that baby, I found the stego babies with the parent. I started to shoot at it with arrows, hoping it would eventually find its way up to me. I'd shoot it a little and kick it a little, and eventually it got stuck on a tree where I could get some good headshots on it. On day 9, I built a weird structure to help protect the stego while it tamed up, since I needed to go back home to load up the rest of my dinos. I walked them up slowly, and most of them made it up. As I was checking to make sure I got everything, I got a shocking surprise.
Alright. Oh! What's happening? Oh no! No! Okay, wait. No! I need this. I need regular arrows. Give me regular arrows. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? Oh, well, there's just regular jellies. Okay. Come on, Parasaur. That's because you were still following me. They're gonna kill my Parasaur. Come on, Parasaur, you can do it. Oh, you are hurt. I thought it was
Almost killed my Parasaur, but they made it out okay. Once I ensured their safety, I figured I'd go kill those jellies for biotoxin, which is used to make shock darts. A ways away off, but it's good to plan ahead. Those jellies must have heard me, because when I went to go check the sea, I couldn't find them. So I sailed off with my gigantic boat with all my dinos on board to the stego I was taming. As I pulled up, I got harassed by a trash bird and discovered they had a new low.
Oh, he took the dodo! He's taking the dodo! No! I thought I was seeing it before. I thought I was seeing my eyes were playing tricks. But no, they're legit taking my... Okay. Everyone on neutral! Okay, the Pteranodon should be able to take care of that.
As I pulled my dinos out of the water, it was then I realized the trash bird took my crossbow, so I searched around for the package, but it was too late. Good thing I packed up my hut, as I had a smithy right in this box here, and I placed it down on the deck. I thought I had enough metal for the crossbow, and I didn't, so I would need to place down a forge as well to get those ingots. I stopped that because the stego was almost tamed up, and I wanted to make sure I could clean the babies. Good thing I did, as this dilo piece of poop was just there creeping. Fortunately, the stego just tamed up, and I quickly cleaned the kids.
And that's 2.
The stego also had a problem with this spitter and proceeded to beat them up. I was going to need to load these guys on the boat now, but I may have issues doing that without a saddle. So I got to working on one, and that's when I got attacked.
No, not the kids! Not the kids! Get out of here, raptors. Beat they butt. Beat they butt. Oh no, we might lose these kids. It's a 140. Oh no. Come on, stego. Protect your children. I might fall off. Oh, these kids are looking bloody. This is real bad. This is real bad. Come on. Okay. There we go. Are you kids okay? No.
I was able to get the kids on board pretty easily, and then I tried the parent and it worked out pretty nicely. I had a fully loaded boat and I was off to look for a nice base location.
I don't know how I'm sailing with no sails.
In the early morning hours of day 10, I wanted to explore this one island I saw when I was on the Horse Ovis Island.
But that motion over there looked like that was an aloe.
This was not a good island at all.
Yeah, I was kind of hopeful for this. I just like the way the islands were shaped, but if it's really bad like this, I might not want to live here initially, to be honest.
So I kept searching. And in my travels, I eventually came upon an island where I got to take a look at my first Astraeos drop.
Look at this thing. I guess this is the drops, and the drops just look like a whole statue. That's a cool saddle. We getting potatoes in a bowl up.
While I was putting my treasures away, another treasure just flew right up to me.
This guy just walked on here. Are you serious?
I was a little slow on whipping out the bolas and they flew away.
Almost tamed that. That's a 145. They just walked. I thought it was mine. And if you come back over here, I'm taming you. Okay, well, they're gone.
There's nothing left for me here, so I just kept pressing forward. This next area I came upon looked really pretty with these purple flowers, so I saddled up and took a look-see. I found some raptor wreaking havoc, and then a flaming blue raptor started barreling towards me.
What is that thing? Okay. I don't want no part of that. Oh, they're gonna chase me all the way. We gotta distract them with something. We gotta bring them something tastier than me. What is that blue thing?
This area ain't it either. On to the next. When I went to check out this area, I accidentally clipped the boat too far, which resulted in half the dinos wanting to fall off. I managed to whistle most of them to stay on the boat, and of course the parasaur fell off. So when I tried to save them, they almost made us a shark snack.
Oh, there's a shark. Oh, okay. He's not interested in anything I'm doing, I guess. Just get on the boat. Come on, man. Get on the boat, parasaur. Come on. You can do it. Come on, you can do it. Yes, you did it, buddy. Yay!
Eventually, I got them up on the boat and we were off to the next location. So many interesting locations and I felt like I barely even moved a grid square.
And there's like this little pathway and then like a thingy thing over here. Oh, look, there's spikes and stuff. It looks like somebody lives here. Who's living here?
Was I not alone? I spent the good portion of day 11 crossing the sea. I'd crossed half of Astraeos, survived volcanoes, fought off trash birds, built Noah's Ark, and after all that, I finally found somewhere that felt like home. I did a quick scouting of the island to determine if it was safe, and it was looking pretty chill. Now it was time to unload the crew. I named my Pteranodon Slingwing before completing the task.
Everyone come follow me to your new home.
One of the first things I wanted to do was set up a greenhouse. Always good to get crops going as soon as possible. So I'd need lots of crystal for the greenhouse pieces. For that, I need to head back to Ovis Island. My plan was to clear out the island of all its crystal, but while I was here, I'd pick up some Ovis babies as well. I found an Ovis with both male and female babies, so that would do just fine. I got the one right away, but lost the other baby. Must have scared her off. I searched and couldn't believe how fast she got away considering how tiny their legs are. So I decided to harvest some crystal, hoping they'd turn up. As nighttime fell, I found the other Ovis baby hanging out by my boat, brought them up on the ship, and finished up harvesting all that crystal. I didn't want this mutton to go to waste, so I brought the dead body of the Ovis on the boat, traumatizing these kids even further. On day 12, I made it back to the base and crafted a stego saddle finally, since I needed to do some harvesting for building. The stego had the benefit of a few gathering modes, and they're not too bad at gathering wood. Technically, I could probably gather more by hand, but they do have the weight to carry it, so it works out. I made myself a storage box to hold all the resources I would need. I spent the rest of the day and night clearing out the area. On day 13, I started crafting all the pieces I would need. I didn't see anything too bad on this island, and since I would be using the skins, I can just build it out of wood. Time for the build. On day 15, I took a break from building because I needed cementing paste to make the greenhouse ceiling. I didn't have a lot of keratin or chitin to make some, and to be honest, I'd rather make the Pteranodon saddle so I could check out the surrounding areas. Possibly for some creatures that give keratin or chitin, or maybe I could find some beaver dams. Coming back to the boat, I realized something.
I gotta be honest, I kind of forgot about you.
I cooked some of the mutton and put the rest in the kids' inventory to hold and preserve it. Ark is messed up. I wasn't quite finished with my build yet, but I could at least get some rain going on in these plots. So I placed down one for each crop to start while I was gone. It felt good to finally fly and to get these drops that were taunting me this whole time I was building.
Just got some cementing paste out of that drop. That's kind of lucky.
I didn't know Quetzals spawned on this map. They were a pain to tame, but could be super useful when hauling lots of resources. I didn't have to travel too far before finding some beavers. And where there's beavers, there's dams, and that means cementing paste. I got a bunch from one dam, and that should be enough for me to finish my ceiling. Grabbed up a drop and found some metal, which I loaded up as much metal as I could on my Pteranodon. It's now day 16 and it was time to finish up this greenhouse, so I made some ceiling pieces. While they were crafting in the smithy, I popped on over to get some more metal for smelting. I was going to need some irrigation, so I made an intake and a tank. I seeded and fertilized the plots as well. I was liking how open and airy this was looking so far, but I decided to add some more on the sides, using the different structure skins to have different textures. All my pieces were finally done being made on day 17, and I got to work placing.
Alright, cool.
After 7 days of work, countless resources, and several detours caused by my inability to stay focused on one task, the greenhouse was finally finished on day 18. I already had some crops growing and I had a center column where I could store my perishables as well as make some liquor. Now with greenhouse secured, it was time to keep up my farming ventures. I got my Ovis, Rambunctious, and Eumantha breathing so we'd have a supply of mutton if needed. It took this long, but I finally made my crossbow again. One thing I wanted to work on early was kibble. I wanted to find and tame a moss chops, which are the smallest dinos you can get that drop large eggs. Large eggs are necessary to make superior kibble, which is useful for taming useful creatures like Argies and mammoths. I could also use it for some utility dinos found at regular tier kibble since they eat higher kibbles as well. I went to a nearby island I had seen some moss chops at. Found a level 50 female, which would be perfect. She wanted rare flowers, so I ran back to base to go fetch some. In the amount of time I left and came back, she changed her mind.
Make sure it's... Oh, come on, giant bee honey. That's what you want? We don't have that. I don't know where that's even at. Well, let's keep looking because I don't have that.
So I left to search for more, and I guess I got turned around because I found myself at the same level 50. I was curious to see if what they wanted changed, and it did. Now they wanted prime fish meat.
Is that something new? Does it change now if you go out of render and then come back? Is that what it is? Because that's kind of good and bad.
So I left and came back, and now they wanted a Tinto berry. I guess that's a thing now. If you don't have what it wants, you can just leave render and come back. I just needed to punch a few bushes to get the berry, and I got them fed. I loaded them onto the boat, and now I needed a male to boost egg production. I stopped for some drops, and I got another good mammoth saddle. It's like the gods keep telling me I need a mammoth. Well, maybe mammoths later, moss chops now. I found some more in a field. All females, but one had a kid, so I searched around for the little bugger. I almost left, but I figured I'd see what the mom wanted since the babies pop up once you tame the parent. Well, she wanted raw prime fish meat, and right next to her was a tiny baby.
Oh, there you are. You're so tiny. You're so tiny. Oh my goodness. But you're a female. Okay, so that's a no.
My search continued into day 19 where I got another mammoth saddle and a slightly better crossbow from a drop. As I searched, I grabbed other resources I needed like metal. I was finding a lot of moss chops, but they were all ladies, so that led me to getting distracted by this level 25 Astral Raptor. These dinos were the alphas of Astraeos, and upon defeating them, you can get some pretty good loot. I thought I'd try to take this one out. I used a mix of Slingwing and my crossbow, chipping away at its health. It was annoying because it would get distracted by everything near it, especially when I was in the optimal position to shoot at it.
You gonna come back? No. Right in the face.
I eventually took it out, and I did get some nice loot from it. That did take a good portion of the day, so I may need to revisit this when I'm a little stronger, but I'm glad I tried. With all the levels I got, I could now open up red drops, and this is where it was going to start to get good. Farming drops is just as important for resources since a lot of these things can be grinded up later. Pretty close to that drop, I finally found a level 15 moss chops. They wanted a rare flower, so I tamed them up easy enough. Now, they were kind of far from my boat, and I couldn't pick them up with my Pteranodon. They did have a kid who was also a male, so I claimed them and brought them back instead since it was easier. And when I came back home, there was another Ovis baby. I was slightly alarmed I couldn't find my other Ovis, so I went looking for it. Then, in true Ark fashion, check out what happened next.
Moss chops. I could have just waited here the whole time. Are you a boy? Watch me be a boy. And you're a boy. It's a 130, so we don't even need that other one.
I saw a purple drop with a ring with some useful things in it. I messed up after getting this drop getting turned around, and I wasn't really paying attention to my stamina when it ran out.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I wasn't paying attention to my stam. Okay. We will slowly make our way over there. Oh, this is awful. There's a shark right there. This is the worst. I mean, luckily you don't fall in the water anymore. They don't do that anymore. I really just wasn't paying attention to my stam. Okay.
So I took 42 business days to make my way over to my boat. At a certain point, my Pteranodon had enough and I got kicked off.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, that's not good. That's not good. Okay. Hopefully I can make it over here. Oh, there's a lot of bad things. That is a lot of bad stuff. Oh no. I didn't know that was going to happen. Okay. I don't even want to look behind me. We're almost there. I hear something next to me. Nope. Okay. We did it. Oh, was there anything that was going to attack me? We don't know. We may never know.
It all worked out, and I whistled my Pteranodon to follow and headed back home. I saw the moss traps again, and I had to see what it wanted, and it was rare mushrooms, which I had, so I tamed it up. Now I didn't need to wait for the other one to grow up, and I can get some eggs going right away. And so I set the both of them on mating, and I got them breeding for eggs. It was now day 20, and I had the Mosschops egg, but I was going to try my luck to see if I could get another female out of it for more eggs. Still on the kibble grind, I was going to need oil for prime meat jerky, which also takes some time to make, and I was going to need sap, which I had no clue where to find. Both of these, however, can be found in drops. But before I set off to go find those, there was his dead Ovis I needed to attend to. Maybe this was the lost one? I don't know, but I had mutton to cook up. So I made some more campfires since I could only stick in 2 at a time. I cooked until I was tired of doing that and I wanted to get some drops.
Oh, hey, it's my old friend.
Hello.
Keep getting tree sap taps, but no, sap.
I popped back to base at one point for a slight tragedy.
Oh no, they both died. I have no of its babies.
Well, at least we're going to be eating good. At this rate, I might not even need kibble for dinos. I set out on day 21 to find a dung beetle to help with my crops because handling it by hand wasn't cutting it for me. I took a visit to that rough looking island I found, figuring that would be a good place to start, since I like hanging out in bad neighborhoods. And I was right. I found a 140, but I wasn't trying to tame a high level with all these nasties about. Where there was one, there was bound to be more. Pushing up a bit further, I found one all by its lonesome at a much more manageable level.
Feed you? There we go.
Now I just need to bring it back to its fancy new ranch. I had built a little area since I kept losing my Ovises since they were so small, so this makes it a little bit easier to see them. Next task on my list was to find a better flyer than old Slingwing here. I need to get around faster and needed to be able to take out and pick up more things. I would need to get an RG, or Astraeos' exclusive creature, the Meguana. Either would be an upgrade from what I have now. So I set off to go search for some. I found myself at a temple area with many statues looking pretty impressive.
Yeah, this is so neat in here. Can we go inside?
This was up on one of the higher peaks as I thought I'd have a better chance at finding RGs up here.
It's pretty nice. And the thing is, it's like, this is cool, and I wish that this actually was implemented on more of the canon maps. But like, notice how like these structures are the Astraeos skins, you know? So like, if you want to build like, say like the castle in Ragnarok, right? The castle in Ragnarok's really, really cool. But the thing is, it's like so many different other textures that don't match up with the regular Ark textures and stuff. So it kind of just looks off, and it forces you to almost rebuild the whole thing. And then with that logic, you might as well just build it yourself, you know? But yeah, like, this is cool. So if you wanted to build here, you could build and it would look like it was actually a part of the whole thing. And I love that.
Then came upon something interesting.
What's this thing? Oh, it's Green Obelisk.
I finally take my first look at the bosses of this map. Thodes the Widowmaker and Natrix the Devious. Now I know what I was working towards. Shortly after, I spotted my first Meguana.
Oh, I found one of those little dudes. Of course it's the level 25.
And the bad levels continued, except when it comes to Theres.
140 with a baby.
This always happens to me whenever it comes to Theres. I'm never prepared when I find high level ones. Hope they survive long enough for me to come back, as there were some feral horses around these parts.
You're beating Spino up. Oh, no, they're not. No, they're not. No, they are not. Oh. Oh, no. Run, kids, run. Avenge your parents later. Look at them. They're like eating it. Oh, man.
Search continues on day 22. I was finding so many things, I even found the fabled unicorn.
A unicorn. I found a unicorn.
Like, do you know how rare that is? Apparently more common than decent level RGs or Meguanas.
Oh, look, I just said that I did not find any RGs, and look, there's one right here. What level may you be? 20. Of course you are.
Well, I guess the gods did bless me with a single RG. Hopefully that wasn't the only one.
Alright.
One thing there was an abundant amount of was Rexes, and this 140 was the highest level I had seen. Rexes are always a good boss contender, and it was good to know there was plenty about.
I like how it's like, looks like it's just built in. I mean, it is, but you know, you just put a door there, blam. There's so many like buildings on this map that you could kind of just stick a door on and then be good to go. If you don't like building. Oh, look, an RG. What level are you? Can I see? What? All the RGs are dookie.
Below the crap RG was a little camp. It appeared to be vacant, but there were useful things like metal tools in these boxes.
Oh, this is cool. Like, it's made out of structures that we actually use. This is great. This is awesome. I love this.
I also made another discovery. These dead sharks on the beach give spoiled meat, hide, and oil. Always nice when I can get oil and not either freeze my butt off or go into the deep seas for it.
I ended up getting another one, and there was an RG up here, so let's see what level you are. 50. Oh, boy. Oh, look at all these RGs. One of these surely has to be a high level. No. No. I'm getting closer. I'm getting closer.
I had already explored so much, and eventually I made my way back to base to tend to my flock. I took myself off in a different direction on day 23 to hopefully get lucky in my quest for a better flyer. I found an island that I saw some Ankies for the first time, which would be good for metal gathering. I also found what I've been looking for, a 130 RG. Not the highest, but at this point I'll take it. I just wanted to do a quick survey of the area to see if I was missing anything.
Oh man, what's going on down here? There's a lot of weird things down here. What the heck is this thing? What? A Minotaur? How do you tame that thing? Is that even good? Look, there's more Rexes, more Rexes. 150. I seen a 150 over there too. Dang, this is the island. See, figures, it's like the last place I checked out that I could actually like go to. There are so many Rexes on this island. That's a 135 Rex.
But I needed that RG. So I made myself a trap, and just as I finished, it was right overhead.
You sound really close. Was it near me? Yes, it was.
Which caused a little problem since I needed it to fly in from the other side. So I'd have to make it loop around and guide it in. I got it in, and then I proceeded to knock it out. I checked out the other RGs, and there was another 130, and it was a female. So I reset the trap next to it and guided it in. This one took a little longer to knock out due to the mate boost, which can be helpful sometimes with creatures that have low health. I didn't have kibble, but plenty of the creatures around gave prime. I took out a Rex and its kid for the meat.
Nice, that was a great find. I mean, I feel like I deserve it after looking for a very long time. It took a really, really long time to find anything. And then I found this little island here. And yeah, it was figures. It was the last place that we did not check.
The one RG tamed up on the early morning of day 24. I figured if I could find something on this island that gave me keratin chitin, I could make an Archie saddle and bring an Anki back with me. At least that's what I could have done, but the Rex ate up all the Ankies. It took me a good bit of looking before I found some more. One lower level surrounded by higher levels. I wanted to tame the higher levels, so it was a little tough killing this one, but when I did, I only got 12 keratin from it. It was just better if I headed back with the RGs I got and made a saddle there. I immediately crafted the saddle and got them breeding so I would have a backup right away. RG eggs need the cold to hatch, and it was kind of warm where I lived. So for now, I have to put it in the bin because I wanted to get an Anki before they got gobbled up. I grabbed up the blue 135 and I brought it back to my island to knock it out. On day 25, I had to worry about Scots running around all over the yard, so I put doors on the center room in the greenhouse and I threw them in there. I tried hatching an egg, but it was also too hot. Since I couldn't really do much during the heat of the day, I decided it was finally time for a makeover. Did up my hair, beard, and armor. And in that time, the Anki tamed up, which I promptly brought them over to smash up some metal rocks. When the night came around, I attempted to hatch some eggs again, and it was working. The temperature here was so drastic. Very hot during the day and then super cold at night. So cold, even the RG egg didn't like it. I lit a fire to help, and they hatched.
Oh, we got twins!
Oh, that was good.
We got twins! That's great!
Aww.
Mutated
Look how
babies?
angry they are.
That's because they're little.
Look at how they're walking. Oh my god. Give them names.
What do you want their names to be?
Their names. Mango.
Mango? Which one's Mango? Mango and Strawberry. They're wild names that make no sense. This guy will be mango. And strawberry. There you go.
It was now day 26, and I happened to luck out with the temperatures, but if I was going to be doing a lot more hatching, I would need a Dimetrodon. Dimetrodons work the same way as an air conditioner would when it comes to hatching eggs. My mosh tops also weren't really producing eggs, but now that I had some RGs, they could do it for the same tier, so I figured I'd have some better luck with them. I needed more females, and I didn't have a setup yet for hatching, so Dimetrodons seemed like the easiest way to go. They like to hang out in swamp and bad areas, so my search started there. My search led me to the Volcano Island, where there were these creatures that kind of looked like corrupted dinos from extinction, but they were called lightning. This place was nasty, so I was pretty surprised when I found one of these.
Look at this guy. Why are you 150 gas bag? Oh. Do you want a gas bag? That would be great for resources. That'd be so good for resources. I probably could just pin it up against this thing. And it is kind of in a good space. Okay, plan changed. I thought I was getting Dimetrodon. I guess I'm getting a gas bag.
Gas bags can hold a ton of weight, and they move pretty fast through the air. I needed to make a trap for it, as it was one of those creatures that run away when you attack it, flying all over the map. I went to a nearby island to hit up some trees to gather everything I needed for a gate trap, then I headed back to find it in the same spot. I wanted to tame it in peace, so all these baddies and lightning dinos needed to go. I at first tried gating the gas bag up against the wall, but that didn't work since they move so much. I put the trap on the ground, and it took a few tries for it to wander in the trap itself.
You want to come in? Yes? He knows. Oh, you almost came in there. Go in there. Let's go. You want to go inside? It'd be crazy if it goes back in there. Yes, go in there. Go in there. Yes, you want to go in there. You want to go in there. Oh, it's in there. I shoved it.
Or so I thought.
I can't believe that worked. No!
You can hit them once and they won't run away. Actually, they will attack you. But any more than that and off they go. It blew me away and it seemed to lose interest as I got to the trap. A few more failed attempts later and it didn't want anything else to do with me, so it blew itself off the rock.
No! I'm never gonna get that thing now. Oh no, I messed it up.
I went to see if I could get it in the water and I found that it just washed up on some rocks. This actually was better. I tried in this awkward position and that didn't work so well. It eventually wedged itself into a hole and then I spammed a bunch of gates around it. And I hoped I could trank it out.
Okay, you can't get out. Okay, you can't get out. That's great. It's gonna take a bit. It's gonna take a lot of arrows too, probably. The worst trap ever. Okay, well, I'm gonna be here for 42 years because I don't have a way to deflate this thing, and they take reduced damage and torpor and everything, so I don't even know if my crossbow will make it.
Which led me into day 27. The tranking lasted through the night, where my crossbow eventually broke with this thing not looking the slightest bit sleepy. So I had to rush back home to repair it and stock up on some more taming gear. While I was back, I noticed a tech parasaur roaming about. Since I now know they can have kids, it might be useful to get a breeding pair to farm for parts. So I quickly bolted and knocked this one out. They tamed up pretty quickly, and after getting some surrounding drops, I flew back to the gas bag, making myself a magnifying glass along the way. This is a tool that helps you check torpor on a creature. By the time I got back, they were sitting at a whopping 22 torpor.
Oh, we got a good way to go. Okay.
I spent all night tranking this thing out till midday on day 28, and then it finally went down.
There we go. All right, did I hit it afterwards? I don't think I did, but finally you are down. After 1,000 arrows, you are down.
I had so much time invested, so I just sat around this bag taking out any dinos who could potentially pose a threat. That lasted about 5 minutes before my curiosity got the best of me, and I explored this island a little more to get some resources for the gas bag saddle. Eventually, I found what I was really looking for.
Oh, not that thing. Where you at? Where you at? Dimetrodons are here.
I figured I could just take one of the Dimetrodon babies so I wouldn't have to tame one. But then, how would I get the gas bag back? That's what I was killing bugs for to get this saddle. I came to the conclusion that I can leave here, bring the Dimetrodon back with me, then come back for the gas bag. It was such a long journey that by the time I made it back, it should be tamed. So that was the plan. Of course, when I figure things out, Ark changes it all on me. I couldn't find the parent with the kid because I think they died to something, so I found another Dimetrodon with a kid, but I couldn't find the kid. I thought maybe if I placed them in a safe spot and left render, then maybe came back, the kid would poof back up. When I flew over, I noticed something was weird with my gas bag.
Why are you all the way down there? What? That's not good. Did you fell through the rock?
I looked at the taming progress and it seemed okay, so hopefully it would just poof back up to the top when I was done. I still wanted to see what else I could find, and all of a sudden I was thrown into this epic soundtrack.
What is that? What is that? Am I in a boss fight? Like, what just happened? Oh! What is that? It is a boss fight! Look at this guy looking at me over there. Thanatos? Alright, well, you Thanatos over there, buddy.
That's enough of this place for now, so while that gas bag was munching on berries under the world, I took the Dimetrodon back to tame. In the early morning hours of day 29, I started to knock this guy out, and my gas bag indicator went away. Problem to worry about in a little while, as I needed to knock this thing out. I chased it all over and I used it my last arrow, but I got it down. Once they tamed up, I had to go check on my potentially non-existing gas bag.
Is it in here? It's not in here. Oh my gosh. Fell. It had to have fallen in here. And it'd be all the way down underneath the world. We don't have one. No, not you. I can't lose all my tames today.
And by the time all of that happened, it was now day 30. Since I was already here, I figured I'd properly check out this island. I saw a weird purpley pink spiky thing come out of the ground that I just had to check out. So I got rid of the baddies in the area before I could check. I guess I spent too much time in the area because this thing activated a shield in which I got off to check that it was an orbital supply drop. And that's when I found out coming over here was a mistake.
Oh. No. I don't know if you saw what I saw. Yes, that's terrible. No, you can keep attacking the shield. I'm out. I want no part of that. Oh, there's wyverns all over the place. All over the place. Okay, you guys keep attacking. No! Oh no, they're chasing me. It's chasing me now. Uh-oh. Oh gosh. No. This is not good. Oh gosh. Oh. No. Okay, I need to get safe. Oh gosh. We gotta go in here or something.
I tried to fly away on my super slow RG into a nearby building for some protection, but this wyvern's fire burned me and my RG to a crisp.
I knew I had no business staying over here.
Luckily, I bred those RGs before the parent died. When I respawned, my surroundings looked a little weird.
Oh, is this the wrong place? Did I never make a bed?
I spawned at my starter hut because I failed to make a bed in my now base area. So I spent the long run along the beach and through the ocean waters to get to my island. I realized when I got back, I didn't have enough to make another RG saddle. I was using that RG to handle all my business, and so it had a lot of my items on it. Just to make sure I didn't lose all my stuff before the timers ran out, I just chose to head over there naked on a low-weight Pteranodon, hoping to salvage some of my belongings. It was looking a little sketchier, but I quickly dove into the building, grabbing my things and collecting just the most useful things. Even with that little, I could barely be on the Pteranodon.
We gotta go. We gotta get out of here. I can't even carry any more stuff anyway, so I think I got everything that I actually needed. We're just gonna have to deal with it. Oh, that sucks.
Once back home, I got the RGs I did have breeding again for backups, and I was going to use the other one as my main RG now. So they laid an egg and I got it incubating since I was curious what it would be. While that happened, I checked on my crops and I noticed my dung beetle was missing.
Dung beetle made an escape. Where did he go?
Turns out he was just hiding under the floor. That would have been the perfect time for him to make his escape while I was distracted by the door. But you're stuck here now. Beetle shenanigans aside, the RG hatched and it was a boy. I needed more females, so I was just going to have to keep trying. It was now day 31 and the quest for great loot begins. I'd have to regain what I lost, so I was checking every drop I could. Any loot was getting got, and that also included Astro Dinos, in which I found this Astro Carno. I wasn't stoked that it was a Carno because they cause bleed damage, but I gotta do what I gotta do. I figured I could get some shots in on it and it would help with levels with both me and my new RG. This was a long time of me chasing it down. It started bleeding me down quick though, in which I'd have to stop to kill other things so I could heal up. Finally, after almost a day, I took it out.
There we go. So we got some Ascendant flak boots, ramshackle hide pants, Mastercraft simple pistol, 7 bullets, and oh my gosh, 36 levels. How many levels did I get? 12? That's crazy. That's crazy.
I would stop at times in my looting to drop some stuff back at the base and to hatch some RGs. I was really only interested in getting more females, so if they were a male, they had to go because I didn't have the resources to raise them. I kept up my looting on day 32 and I eventually came across a Rex getting beat up by some Branos. I have a beautiful greenhouse that isn't getting its proper use because I can't get dinos to make eggs for kibble. Maybe I'd have better luck with Rexes, which give eggs for an even higher tier of kibble. Exceptional. I did want to tame this one, but it had a kid I just yoinked up and claimed back at the base. I also found a male tech parasaur to go with my other one so I could finally get my mech farm going. I knocked it out quickly only to check the other one, and I didn't realize this one was a male too.
Thought you were a female. We got 2 bros.
So, no eggs. After all this time, I finally put down a bed, and it's only because I got it in a drop. I wanted to make some cryopods now from the resources I've been gathering, so I grabbed up what I could, and then I set off towards the obelisk. As I did that, I saw a drop was coming down, and I'd be able to craft them in there instead. With all the materials, I had enough to craft 7, which is plenty to be able to do some serious taming further from my base. At some point during the day, I changed my hair to my signature look, and then I continued to farm those drops. Also, taking down some astrals in the process. I took out another Rex for its male baby, so now I had a Rex pair to hopefully get some eggs from. It was now day 33, and at this point, my Astraeos adventure came to a halt. When I first started this playthrough, the map was still unfinished, and I didn't want to push all the way to the end, only to miss half the experience. So I stepped away and I waited. When I finally returned, Astraeos had transformed. New islands had appeared, new creatures roamed the world, new mini-bosses and bosses stood between me and the final challenge. The journey hadn't changed. The mountain I needed to climb had simply gotten bigger.
I had a ship, but it got destroyed because of the mods and all the updates and stuff, so we're kind of starting from scratch again.
It was a slight setback as I was using my ship as a working area, so I'd have to gather those things back up again. My greenhouse was also looking a little ragged since all my beautiful skins were removed, only the best for Scott's the Beetle, so I needed to put them back to what they once were. At this time, I added the Vanilla with Sprinkles mod, which helped with things like building. I made a structure variant gun, which normally speeds skinning structures along. Unfortunately, I couldn't get it to properly work with the Astraeos skin, so I had to do it all by hand. I had to double click with each one, so that was a bit annoying. As I mentioned, I had lost a bunch of stuff in between updates, so getting these drops were going to be important as well. So I'd stopped skinning to start looting to hopefully get something good. One of the drops, I got a bunch of polymer, which I figured could be used to make myself a chainsaw. I needed an actual proper base, and with my island being pretty safe, I'd be building mostly out of wood, since I planned on using the Astraeos skins in the end. The storage boxes I had out were full, with my RG getting full quick. Without a workshop, I'd need a temporary workspace. So I set up my smithy in the greenhouse, and I looked to see if I had enough to craft the fabricator to make the chainsaw. I needed a little bit of cementing paste, which I crafted in Captain Stompy's saddle. Then I found I needed crystal as well. So a quick trip to a nearby mountain, I grabbed up a drop and I whacked at some crystal. I was experiencing some trouble getting back onto my bird for whatever reason.
Why is this thing so buggy?
Eventually the option to ride showed back up and I took myself back home to craft the fabricator. Now I finally could make the chainsaw, or so I thought. I needed more cementing paste. So I had to go find some turtles to take out, but not before getting a yellow drop full of saddles. Then to the turtles. Gaining enough to craft the remaining paste, but I also needed metal ingots. So I crafted and placed a forge to get some metal smelting. I was going to need more, so I saddled up my Anki with one of the drops I got and made another storage box to unload some of the weight of my RG. I gathered some metal and I waited for the rest to smelt, and I could finally make the chainsaw, which this thing is the best at gathering so many resources. Not a very fitting tool considering the map, but we'll just say it was a gift from the gods, which it was a much appreciated gift as I was going to need to clear this huge space of its trees. It definitely would be faster with a dino, but the chainsaw gives me so much more wood per tree, and I would definitely need to use that for my build. I take a break from sawing to do some crafting of the building pieces. Between the chainsaw gathering wood and thatch and the moss chops for fiber, I'd be well off for any future building. It was now day 34 and the space was looking clear enough I could start to build. I had a huge plan in mind and wouldn't be able to do it all in one go, but I could start laying down my foundations to map out the area. And this happened a lot over the course of the next week or so in game.
This looks about center-ish. Kind of just need to start building. That's it. Alright, first foundation placed. Okay, this looks pretty good for now.
On day 35, I wanted to check out some of the newer islands today, and Astraeos had a teleportation system like Fjordor. I chose Limnakus South. I did hope I could find a Meguana still, even though I can teleport, but they would be so much more efficient at gathering drops quickly. I'd be on the lookout for some potential boss dinos, and speak of the devil, I was greeted by some high-level fairies.
Oh, 140 Theory, look at that. 140 Theory, 140, 145 Theory, They're both females. Do I want to take those to the boss fight? It would be bad. I mean, I don't know as far as like honey goes and stuff for veggie cakes, you know, so that's an option for sure. Yeah, this is this whole upper east part of the map that wasn't here when I first played, so we'll just spend some time checking out this island and see what it's about. Of course, I gathered the purple drop in front of me, and during my time out, I was going to gather as much as I could hold before heading back home. In addition to the Theras, there were also high-level Rexes about, which are always a classic boss contender. But then I found something else that caught my eye. Oh, what's this thing? Oh. Wait. You could bring one of these guys? That one's cool looking. They're so cool looking. Look at that thing. One of these are called an Acrocanthosaurus, added a couple months back at the time of my recording, and these were looking like a new boss contender. It would give me an opportunity to tame something different, but I was underprepared for this tame at the moment, as well as these levels not being so great for now. So I'd keep pressing forward. Oh, there's a female tech parasaur. I want to tame that thing because I have males. Actually, you know what? Let me check my footage real quick just to make sure. I'm not making that mistake again. So after checking my footage, I confirmed I indeed had males, so I was taming this one. I tried picking them up to bring them to a safer spot and it wasn't working for me. This was something I didn't realize at the time, but I have PvE mode on, which doesn't allow you to pick up wild dinos. I mostly had it on for cryo sickness cause it's dumb. The last playthrough I had it on, I was towards the end of my playthrough and I didn't really have anything else to pick up. But yeah, I didn't know or realize it for a while, so it kind of affected how I played the next few days. With that being said, I had to lure the Gigantoraptor away to kill it and then attempt to tame the Parasaur in peace. Oh! Oh, I didn't know they did... Since when do you care? Since when do they care about this stuff? Are you kidding me? I have thousands and thousands of hours in this game and I still learn new things every day. Apparently, the regular dinos squash their beef with the tech dinos because before, you could attack tech dinos and the regular ones wouldn't care. Now they're in cahoots together. This could have been done with a lot less blood. Okay, did they change all of that? Like, all of this is so different now. Oh, there's a raptor. Can I pick up a raptor? Or is that weird now? No, I can't pick the raptor up either. What is going on? I think maybe something's bugged out. I think I'm supposed to be able to pick these things up. You know. Yeah, I can't pick berries now either? Okay, come on. 40 complaints later and the Parasaur was tamed, which I cryoed up. I found something on day 36 I was not expecting to see at all. Oh snap, there's gotchas here. We got gotchas? Oh, I'm gonna have to get myself some gotchas. Let's go get some rocks to give the gotcha. Yeah, you could just feed them rocks. I wasn't really concerned with the level as it affects the quality and speed of the crystals they produce, but with there being so many different ways to acquire loot on this map, I didn't think it was that important. To tame them, you literally just drop stuff in front of them and they'll eat it up until they're tamed. Yummy rocks. There we go. Structures are better, but rocks will do just fine. I brought it over to a safer area since there were Microraptors about, and then I cryoed it up. I went to see what it produced and I couldn't see it in the pod, which is also something that used to be there before, at least I swear it was. Not a big deal as I just check it when I got home. If I could find a female now, that would be perfect. And shortly after I did. Tamed her up in the same way and I potted her. I came across a yellow drop with a ring that I wanted to get and found that they're astral RG versions too. I had to wait it out a little bit before dipping down to grab the drop, getting some scuba in the process. Kinda wanted to see what this RG was about, so I poked at it a little bit, which probably wasn't smart considering I was getting pretty weighed down by all the loot I've been grabbing. Where are the Meguanas at? Yeah, where are they at? I've been searching for a while and finding everything else. Oh wow, everything here's so pretty, it's all blue? A 140 blue Rex? Like there's blue RG too? There's a 150 Spino and it's blue! Oh! I don't have the right things to tame a Rex right now. I'm just trying to tame a Meguana. This always happens to me. And then I know, as soon as I'm not looking, I'll find 27 of them. They might actually even pop up at my house. That's how it works. Since I was close to Blue Obelisk, I also checked to see what new bosses there were and the items I needed.
It was a lot. This was the first time the scope of Astraeos really hit me. It already felt big before, but how was I going to get all this done now? I got one last drop that brought me to the limit, and it contained an Ascendant Rex saddle. This game is pushing me towards Rexes, and apparently burrow bucks. I'll just drop those. It's now day 37 and I still haven't found a single Meguana, and I was at the point where I could only gather maybe one more drop. Do I want to go for the yellow or the purple? Let's go for the purple. It's got a ring around it. Sometimes purple will give me a better weapon, better crossbow, better rifle. Not that yellow wouldn't either, but this one's got a ring on it, so it could be really good. That drop was definitely worth it. Look at that. Ascended long neck rifle. That's what we wanted. So much better. All right, that's it. That's all I can hold. That's all I got. So I'd have no choice but to go back home, or so I thought. I'm gonna have to head back, but let me like swoop around here, at least on this part of the island, to see if maybe there's some Meguanas. That kind of looks like a wyvern's nest. Oh wait. Those are Desmodus. Those are Desmodus. Oh, I have found a Desmodus cave, and even though I was underprepared, it took me so long to get here. Plus, I was heading back home, so I figured I could tame a lower level one to help me get the blood packs for a better level. I made a blood extraction syringe and started the task of draining my blood. On my rates, I need 7 to tame the level 25, but I made 12 just in case the level 100 came over. Then I did something I never do, and I made sleeping bags just in case things went south. I crept up, shooting the level 25 once to aggro it over. Here it comes. This is the level 25, so it's not going to be as good, but it picked me up and proceeded to drain the blood packs in my inventory, and in no time it was tamed. Cryoed it, and with 6 blood packs left, I figured I could make a few more to tame the female too. I had to creep a little closer this time and try to shoot it, and when I did, I saw that there were many more in the cave, one being a 140 female. Trying to shoot her with my pistol, I whiffed all my shots. I almost gave up, but I checked my RG to see what I had, and I had a few rifle bullets I got from a drop. I also checked to see if I had enough to make a scope, but I didn't, so I just have to hope my aim was true. It was nerve-wracking though. As I got closer, I saw more and more bats, and I was just thinking about all of them blending me up into a puree if one of them spotted me. This shot had absolutely no business connecting. The bat was practically at the back of the cave. The lighting was terrible, and I didn't even have a scope, but if I could land this shot, I'd have a chance at a 140 Desmodus. So I took a breath, aimed, and I got it. I hit her and ran quickly towards my RG since I didn't know how many would follow. Also, this sunset was absolutely brutal, blinding me, so I wouldn't even see my death coming. It just took her a minute, but eventually she flew out. Terria, here she come. Do not fly me in the cave. Please do not fly me in the cave at all. She dropped me with 93% taming done, and I ran to my RG since she was going to start attacking. Since I already had lower health, I'd be safe from the hits, and when she decided to pick me again, she'd instantly tame. I was curious about the Desmond with the baby, but if I know what I know now from my past is not to get greedy. So I decided to finish up exploring the rest of the island before heading back home. Look, I've seen 2 of these things and I haven't seen a single Meguana. I don't think they exist. I mean, except the 2 I saw. But that's it. Like, I looked all over this whole island over the past few days and I don't see any. There's bison. There's all kinds of other stuff. Found gotchas, found Desmodus. No Meguanas. I don't know. I don't think I can get a faster flyer. I don't think it's gonna work. I mean, Desmodus is kind of fast, but Aloes. In the early morning of day 38, I teleported back to East Corinthos, only to get mugged as soon as I arrived. Oh man, they tried to steal my meat as soon as I come back. Oh wait, he stole my Desmodus too? Wait a minute. You kidding me? You stole my male Desmodus? What? Okay, I got the meat. Where's my cryopod? Oh my gosh. You serious? You suck. I successfully retrieved my things. All right, where am I at? I'm close to where I'm supposed to be. That's why I don't live on this island. Once I got back, I unloaded all my dinos. Coming back from my dino haul, The stats weren't great on the Desmodus. My gotchas combined had useful resources like crystal and pearls, but I wanted one with polymer. So now it was time to breed all these pairs. Gotcha babies will not produce the same thing as the parents. So if you don't get the ones you want, you just keep breeding them until you get a gotcha with the resources that you want. With this looking like a stay-at-home day, I continued to chop down trees and make more building pieces and work on my foundation. Then the first round of kids came. The Desmodus was a dud, the gotcha came out with oil production, and the tech piercers were popping out eggs. Don't ask me how that works, it should be a chip or a hard drive if you ask me. On day 39, I continued to work on my build, but my chainsaw was looking kinda ragged. I didn't have polymer to repair it, so I was going to have to go somewhere where I could get some. There was this whole new scorched area desert type island added that I wanted to check out, where I could possibly find some mantis for polymer. Before leaving though, I checked the next batch of babies. They were both no good, and the parasite pops out eggs so quick one of them hatched up. So I just cryoed it for now for later blending. I only had one more use to my chainsaw, but I figured I could use it on a mantis to get as much polymer as I could. I set to teleport to Pyranthos North.
Wait a minute, these plants are blue. Are these polymer plants? These might actually be polymer plants right here.
I had just come from playing Lost Colony, which has blue polymer plants, so it was safe to assume these could be those too.
Oh, it's just fiber. You sure? Yeah, it's just fiber.
So back to the original plan. I came up on a drop that could have been worth it, but I decided against it. Not because there were so many bad things around, but because there are Microraptors around so many bad things around. If I got knocked off while taking down these threats, I'd be shredded in seconds. So I kept safe for now. I was seeing a lot of Dodicks as well, and out of habit I looked at levels, but building everything out of wood and having an Anki that can also gather stone too, I just didn't see the need for one. I think I had to make my way to more open desert to find the mantis, and instead I found this.
Oh, what's this thing?
Scorpion Queen?
Things like red and stuff.
Oh, that's a regular scorpion right there. Oh, that thing's huge.
Yeah, that's probably one of them bosses, one of the new bosses there.
Okay.
Well, I only got my RG's little toes, so it's not enough.
Probably not strong enough to take down one of those alone, but now I knew it just roamed about. Shortly after, I found some mantis. I grabbed a red drop quickly before it despawned, and it wasn't worth it. Now imagine this was a drop with all those nasties about. Yeah, no, safe drops only. I proceeded to take out a mantis and quickly had to take down another one because mantis will eat their brethren's bodies. Once they were both down, I used my chainsaw till it broke, and then I used my RG to gather the rest. Another thing I wanted to make was a vault, since it could hold a lot more than a storage box, and those boxes were getting full of loot. So I took out a few more mantis so I had enough, and then I teleported back home. I arrived on day 40 and I had some babies to sort through. So this is another thing I had going on in the background. I just kept these guys breeding until I got the things that I wanted, so I'm not going to show every single one. I repaired my chainsaw, then I made a vault, leaving it for now since I wasn't sure I wanted it yet. My pace situation wasn't looking too good either, so I was going to need to visit some dams. That was a 2-for-1 since I'd get the paste and the wood. I was able to only collect one dam, but there were so many more dams and apparently no beavers. So we were going to be back pretty soon. That Quetzal in the sky was looking more and more appealing every day, even at a low level, just to have something to haul massive amounts of resources. And now I had a Desmodus with a decent rifle, so shooting it down would be simple. Something to think about as I worked on my space. When I came back, I finally got a gotcha that produced polymer. Having all these gotchas making resources also solves my resource problem. I did like having the options. For now, I need to hunker down and get focused on this build. So one last run for some metal and then I can get to it. It was now day 41, and at this point my life had become a cycle of cutting trees, crafting pieces, and trying to convince myself the build wasn't getting completely out of hand. I'm already making this a much bigger build than initially planned, but trust me, I have a vision. There were times where I would stop for drops, one being a red drop. It was so far away that it took me all night to get to. And in the early morning hours of day 42, I got to be disappointed.
Or a horn.
I didn't want to make the trip back, so I just teleported back to my base. Grabbing drops was going to be difficult if it took me all that time to get just one. I was thinking of looking for a Meguana again. I need some taming items, so I started crafting some bullets so I could make trank darts. While I waited, I checked on my baby situation and I was still getting bad Desmodus. Yeah, I'm probably good on gotchas. So I stopped the gotchas from breeding anymore. I repaired my chainsaw, then I unloaded everything off my RG. Another thing I wanted to do before searching was to get more pieces crafting. I was running out of trees, but I knew beavers had some wood. The paste would also be great for crafting industrial items, which I would need once my build was complete. So I took another RG to ransack all the beaver dams. On my way back home, I found a 145 Doedicurus. Up to this point, I really haven't needed stone, but with a bunch of gotchas to feed, this could be useful. So I picked them up and brought them back to base. I quickly put a trap together from the pieces I got from drops, then dropped it in and proceeded to knock it out. I dropped some berries in, made some trank darts, and a shovel for my upcoming quest. On day 43, I teleported to Foquitos to seek Meguanas and treasure. This was another island I hadn't fully explored yet, so I was excited to see what secrets I could find here. Don't worry, it wasn't a good one. They're still trying for a good stat baby. Not too far on the island, I was greeted by something awesome.
Oh, that's a really cool looking Rex. I don't have enough stuff to tame a Rex, but I don't know, I keep seeing all these cool Rexes, man.
I did get an Ascendant saddle, so it might be worth at least considering Rexes to take to a boss fight. I soon after came upon an island that looks like it could possibly be home to some wyverns. Now, so far, you guys have seen how slow I am, so getting eggs right now wasn't possible, but maybe with a good Desmo I could. I didn't want to try my luck today because for now, I was looking for Meguanas. Unfortunately, I was encountering the same issues as before.
I'm convinced they don't exist on here anymore. They would have moved maps.
Then shortly after, I found this.
That's one down there. Oh, it's a level 25. Oh, this is the first one I've seen in a while. Okay.
Where there's one, there's bound to be more, right? I made my way towards the direction of the treasure, and once I got there, I found I wasn't close enough. So I figured it must have been in a cave. So I flew around to check for an entrance. I found an astral mammoth and tested to see how I would do.
Oh, you hit kind of hard. Yeah, I'm not going to deal with that.
And so I continued to search for an opening.
Flew around this entire mountain and I do not see an opening to get into said cave. If it's even a cave.
I went back to the treasure spot, and upon taking out my shovel, it turned green, allowing me to dig and getting a chest. Probably just gonna grind this stuff later.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like at this point it's just like I've already spent like 10 days looking for Meguanas, and I think the highest level was like a 50 or 90. I don't even remember. I've seen like 3 this whole time, and it's supposed to be this map's creature. So I don't know. Do I just tame to level 25 and then like that be done, or should I try and check my own island? Because they can spawn on my island. I might go try and do that real quick. Because, yeah, like I said, there's this level 25 over here. Oh, wait, here's another one. Here's another one. What level be you? 50.
Okay. It is now day 44, and at this point, I had pulled up a spawn map for Meguanas, and I was on an island that should have had a plethora of them, but it was empty.
In one area that was supposed to have a lot of them, this island is supposed to be littered with them, but there's really nothing on this island at all. So it makes me believe that the spawns are being weird, or they're just spawning underneath the ground or something, because that happens too sometimes. Yeah, because at a certain point, I think I'm just going to have to give up the Meguana dream, because it's just taking too much of my time.
I figured I'd at least check one more spot, and that was Corinthos, back where I first saw my first ones. Really, the only benefit of these searches was discovering more of the map and collecting drops containing some more useful things. After days of searching, multiple islands, and entirely too much optimism, I finally accepted defeat. The Meguana hunt was over.
What does a red drop with a ring get us? Acro saddle. Alright. That's, I wanted to tame one of those, and we got an Ascendant one, so maybe this is a sign.
We'll just tame double the Maywings when Genesis comes out, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the video when it drops. When I had arrived back home on the morning of day 45, the Doedicurus was tamed, as well as a nice surprise.
Baby Desmodus, what do you got? 25. You got all the good stats! You got all the great stats! You did it! You did it! This is a good one!
I've been just letting them grow, but this one needed to stay alive as a male with all the female stats. This one was going to get the good stuff. I made a Desmodus saddle, and I took the mom out to gather some blood packs from a Bronto that spawned on my island. I didn't think they spawned here, but it was perfect timing for the blood bags. No sense feeding all the ones that came before, so I made a kill gun and cleaned out the rest of the Desmodus spawn. The cleanup continued as I got resources from the bodies and clearing out more trees for building. The baby eventually wanted regular kibble that I promptly made. Not that I really needed it for this one, but I was so grateful to have a Desmodus for breeding, so this baby gets whatever he wants. Next thing that needed cleaning up was these gotchas.
Are you guys making crystals? This whole time they should have been making crystals, but I haven't been paying attention.
I could have been more resource rich, so yeah, that was kind of my fault. For now, I'd cryo most of them up till I could sort them out a little bit more efficiently. I only had a limited amount, so to free up a cryo, I unloaded the tech parasaur, which I scrapped for parts. Even from one that wasn't fully grown, I still got a decent amount of stuff. At the end of the night, I set down some stairs to where my entrance to my door was going to be. And finally, on day 46, I got started on the main structure of my build.
Alright, this will be the start.
I stopped at some point to get the now grown Desmodus mating to get more babies with the good stats. Then it was back to the build. I stopped once I had my pillars and walls up because I felt like I got to a point where I could start skinning the structures, since it was kind of messing with my eyeballs having so many different types of structures up. I was so focused on the build I forgot I had set the mother and son Desmodus on mating, and the result was something the Greek gods know plenty about.
Oh, look at this mutated baby. That's so cool. We got 2 mutated ones. Oh, look at this guy.
I had a male and female mutated Desmodus with mutations in stamina. I wasn't really trying for these, but with blue and purple coloring, I wanted to try and get one that was mostly blue and purple. While I waited for the one to grow, I cut down even more trees and I got bothered by the local thief.
You serious? I actually need one of you, so let me get some berries.
Now why would I need a Pego, you ask? You're about to see.
What was a little ugly thing? Can you steal from me, so... Thanks. Alright, now the reason we need one of these is because... well, we're going to use them for our gotchas, but with them we can do enable gotcha crystal collection, so it's kind of perfect that you showed up.
So Pego takes berries, becomes our friend, so they pick up gotcha crystals for us automatically, so we don't have to. They get to feed their klepto addiction, and I don't have to spend hours searching for hidden crystals under the floor. It's great! I started making my structure look fancy with the skins that carried me over into day 49. The build was slowly taking shape. I then got the mutated bats breeding for colors. After that, I spent the long task of sorting through all my gotcha to get a pair to make some of the resources that I'd want. Also setting up the Pego to collect the crystal that were being produced. Since nothing really works without me being here, I continued to prettify my build. This would have been a lot easier and a lot faster if the structure gun would work, but it just didn't like the Astraeos skin, so I'd have to do each by hand. It was now day 51, and as usual, I overestimated my ability to stay focused and on task. This build was becoming a much bigger project than anticipated. It feels a bit redundant to keep mentioning when I grab resources for crafting building pieces and placing them down. But don't worry, I'm gonna get it done. I'll just be working on it in the background and then I'll bring you back when I reach a completion point. Because I wanted to get some taming done and I don't really have much ammo to do it with. I wanted to make shocking tranquilizer darts, which are the best trank darts, but they require biotoxin, which you can get from jellyfish. Because of this, I wanted to tame an Archelon, since they are supposed to be superb biotoxin gatherers, and they are immune to jellyfish stingers. They require biotoxin to tame, and since I didn't have any, kibble would work as well. I tried making their tier of kibble, which is superior, but I didn't have enough to even make one. However, I did have enough to make exceptional kibble, the next tier, so that would do just fine. I've seen Archelons in all these waters, so it shouldn't be too hard to find a decent one. I poked my head in the water to check and didn't spot any right away. Figured I'd fly around a bit to see what I could find. I found a level 50 soon after, but figured I could do better. I searched most of the day collecting drops as I went along. One drop granting me an Ascendant Cyclops saddle. I hadn't even seen one of them yet, but it's gotta be good if you find their saddles in red drops. Night was slowly coming upon me, and I didn't want another Meguana situation on my hands. I needed a turtle. Not the perfect turtle, but something decent would be nice. So I decided to push up past this bridge, and if I didn't find anything, I'd circle back. It's a good thing I did, as I found this 145 Archelon flopping around on the beach. Couldn't be in a more perfect spot, as it's a passive tame, and now I didn't have to worry about chasing it around in the water.
Okay. Oh, it's a big turtle. I love it. Oh, there we go.
I potted it up and took a quick look at its stats, and it was kind of shocking. I mean, what is that, 15,000 health? 15,000 health? That's crazy. On day 52, I went to make the Archelon saddle, but I didn't have the wood for it. So I went to gather some with my chainsaw, and apparently Pteranodon babies didn't see the safety first presentation about not walking into a chainsaw. Of course the parent got upset at me, and it was kind of stupid since I was stuck in one place bogged down by all this tree.
I didn't mean to hit your kid. Didn't mean to do that.
And my bird was slowly duking it out with the Pteranodon. I got the saddle crafted and took this bad boy into the sea.
I can't just go in the water. Oh, it's slow. Just floating. Can I descend? Yes. I got protection.
Archelon air bubbles. This is great. Okay, great. All right, let's go find some jellies. The saddle comes with oxygen so you can stay underwater without scuba. I saw my first jellies and I got almost 250 biotoxin from 2. I continued in my quest to depopulate the Jelly Nation and came across my first Megalodon, which for some reason I wasn't even thinking about these guys even though I was in the water. Oh, that's a lot of damage. Shark ain't doing nothing to me. Get out here, shark. This guy's a beast. Oh, was that a zip? Well, mostly a beast. Okay. Fighting a lot of things. Similar to the Megatherium's bug buff, the Archelon gains 1 after eating jellyfish, which is what I was experiencing before. That's why my damage was only 130 now. I was doing okay, but surrounded by creatures faster than me made it hard to bite them, so I just left. Like left, out of the water, which is kind of funny. I eventually found a nice jelly harbor to dine at, and by the time I got home, I had over 23,000 biotoxin. Look at all this biotoxin. We're probably going to be good forever. This thing is a beast. I love this thing. I also came home to find the Desmodus with all the colors I wanted on one. Oh, we got a purple one. That's the one we want. Purple and the blue. You look amazing. It was now day 53 and I had tons of biotoxin for darts. I looked to see if I could make a chemistry bench so I could get more bang for my buck when it came to crafting spark powder and gunpowder. We need crystal. We can get a lot of bullets crafting and then we'll be good on taming stuff. Yeah, so I think that's what we need to do. So I whacked up some crystal with my Anki and then found I was missing electronics. I crafted as many as I could, but I was still short. So I was going to have to bust out these tech piercers. Once they hatch, I immediately killed one and tried to use my chainsaw, but it didn't work. Like, it wasn't working at all. I'm not even getting any. I dragged it over to a different spot and it still didn't work. So I just hit it with my pick and I did not get a lot of resources at all. Oh, that's not even worth it. I'm gonna wait for them to grow up. They grow up pretty fast, so this wouldn't be too bad. Yes. Yeah, I got much better resources from an adult. I crafted a bunch of forges to load up the scrap metal I just got to help it smelt faster. Then I placed them in what would be my new workshop. Loaded them all up, and then these structures also had Astraeos skins, which looked pretty nice. On day 54, my blue and purple Desmodus was finally all grown, and I had the perfect name for it. Lurple Nurple. Perfect. We're going to go on some taming adventures, and I need lots of ammo. Got the chemistry bench finally crafted, as well as a generator. I placed my structures down, which I'm not completely in love with where they're at right now, so I may move them later. Then I got some gunpowder crafting. While that happened, I skinned these structures as well. Oh, that looks good. That looks good. I took the rest of the day to make the bullets and tranq darts that I needed. I noticed something funky was going on with my turtle in the early morning hours of day 55. Figured maybe it was all those drugs he was gulping down. Oh, you looking kind of dirty. You supposed to look like that? That's actually a pretty neat feature visually, and the algae it grows can be used for herbivores like mutton is to carnivores. I was going to need to take some biotoxin from him to make the final darts, and I didn't realize I wasn't a high enough level to make them. I was only one level off, so I thought I could kill some of the extra Desmodus for XP, but I didn't get much. Fortunately, there was an Astroraptor nearby that looked like it wanted to donate some experience. It was a 140, so it was going to take a bit, but I got some good headshots on it and eventually took it down. With the next level acquired, I made as many shock darts as I could. I was using up a lot of metal quickly, so I needed to go for another metal run to get enough to hopefully push us into some industrial structures. On day 56, I wanted to look for something to kill bosses, and I was thinking of getting the Acrocanthosaurus. I packed up what I thought I would need, as well as a few things in case I saw something else I'd want, then I'd head off to where I spotted them before, Limnakis. I spotted one close to the area I had seen them before, but it was a low level. I had to look at a spawn map for this one to see where I could find them, and of course they seemed to like the rougher neighborhoods. There were a few chill spots on Limnakis, so I figured I'd check that for the day. I had the idea since there wasn't too many places on Limnakis to check, I could head over to those weird islands I saw not too long ago that suspiciously looked like Wyvern domain. If it was night, I could use the Desmodus invisibility to casually browse some nests. That is, if Wyverns were even over there. I was taking a guess at this point. Once I checked the south, I needed to check the north for Acros, but I didn't realize there wasn't a north teleportation zone. I sent myself to the lava island of Thrakus instead.
No, this is not where I wanted to spawn. I wanted to spawn Limnakis.
Luckily, nothing was there right away to eat my face, and I was able to get to a safe ledge. It was nighttime soon, so I teleported close to the Purple Tree Island on Fukintos. I found something kinda crazy as soon as I arrived.
A Giga.
Taming a Giga that high of a level is an all-day, maybe a 2-day tranking fest, which I really wasn't interested in. I think it could be used for the mini-bosses, but not the main boss fights. So it's just something cool to look at.
Oh look, a Iguana. Look at that thing.
And the Meiguana, well, it's more of a rarity than a Giga. I crept close to the Wisteria Tree Island and turned on my invisibility because you can't be too safe. Well, I was a little too invisible. I remember being able to at least see yourself a little bit in ASE. I can't see anything. Good thing I did is I saw a lightning wyvern right after, and it was a 180. That would be a solid egg if I could find the nest. I still hadn't found any yet, and it was hard to tell where I was actually at. Then I stumbled upon a single nest with a poison egg. It was kind of a process to land since Blurple Nurple couldn't even see their own feet to do it, but when I got off to check, it was something good. 180, that's max level! Now normally I don't go for poison wyverns since their attack is a little weird, but I decided I couldn't pass up my first egg being a 180. So I yoinked it and zipped back off to invisibility, and those wyverns did not care. This was the way. I teleported back home on day 57 and set down the poison egg next to the Dimetrodon to see if it would hatch, and it was too cold. That meant I had to do a whole hatching area that I didn't want to do at the moment since I still wanted to find some acros. So I put in the preserving bin for now and set a course for the Pyranthos Desert. I was greeted by some other new creatures.
Oh hey, look at this guy. This guy's new too. You're supposed to be able to just trank them out, but they're just like a big turtle, and I already got a big turtle. I almost actually wanted one of these guys, but then I found out the Archelon was better at harvesting biotoxin. But this thing is still pretty cool looking. You're just doing little circles.
I picked up a red drop containing a Therisaddle. Good to have more options in case things go south. But it wasn't looking that way as Pyranthos was littered with acros.
But see, I didn't really want to do this over here because look how many more bad things there are. You know, so if I can find it in a nicer... There's two of them. If I can find it in a nicer area, that would be ideal. Is that another one? Like, they're all over the place here. That's a 140. Oh, that's another one. There's so many here. 25. They're all like Dookie Brown though, man. Like, this is another one. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, we're not gonna have a problem finding them then here.
So now I know that they can be found in abundance here. I was just now scoping out what else I could find in terms of levels and colors.
This is a 150 male right there. That one's kind of cool looking, actually. Okay, so this is a 150. Yeah, that thing's cool looking.
Since I knew I could get some here, I wanted to check some of the other areas out where they could spawn because honestly, I wasn't super crazy about any of the colors. And there was like 1,000 more ways it can go wrong in the desert here. So I took myself to Corinthos, finding nothing, and then back to Limnakas to check out the north. It is now day 58 and there was nothing but cold here, where there looking to be no evidence of acros even existing here. I was close to the area that had all the blue dinos I had seen before, and I wanted to see if that high-level blue Rex was still here, and it was.
Is it you? Yes!
It seemed to be wedged in a rock, and I wanted to try and trap it with billboards, which is kind of awful on a Desmodus since they like to attack at the same time when you place structures.
No! Stay there!
So it didn't really work out too great. It jumped off a cliff and I had to deal with an RG before I could go get the Rex, but it was too late.
Where'd you go? Wait, where'd you go? I don't... Where did it go?
I don't think something killed it, it just wasn't there. Well, no sense crying over spilled Rexes as my search continued to the lava island of Therakus. I really didn't want to tame any here, I was just curious. And I wasn't really finding much of anything, at least until Thanatos appeared to be going on a stroll. Good thing he shows up on my map as I wanted no part in that. I really was only finding lightning creatures. And Spinos. Lots and lots of Spinos. So hey, do you guys remember when I really wanted some Spinos to make a super cool, awesome army and Ark was like, no, haha, we're just not gonna spawn them? Yeah, this just feels like a middle finger. In the early morning hours, I took a scenic, peaceful flight over the waters to Pyranthos. I decided to start taming the 150 Acra I had saw. Their taming method is a little unique. You have to damage them, and then when they get enough damage, they'll roar, in which you feed them biotoxin. Wasn't thrilled about being near this thing's mouth, but I figured with Blurple Nurple here, I'd be able to swiftly get in and out. I had to shoot it off its perch and then let the damage happen.
Oh,
Which seemed to happen for a while. It mostly just ignored me.
why aren't you coming over here? Like, I thought it's supposed to, like, try and attack me or something. Hello? Hi. What are you doing? Come over here. That's so scary. Come over here, come on. Like, what are you doing?
Nah.
Then when it decided to attack me, it just kept attacking me. I was unsure what I was doing wrong. Maybe I needed more damage? Or faster damage? This thing was fast and I saw no change in animation despite me shooting it dozens of times. It didn't roar at all and it was just getting bloody. It wasn't entering its defensive stance, it was just getting angrier. I was obviously messing something up. Okay, let me go get something for it to heal. I might have to like watch a video or two on how to take, because I thought that you damage it and then it's supposed to go into a defensive stance, then it's supposed to roar, but it's just constantly chasing me. And it's just operating like a regular carnivore that gets mad when you shoot it. So, I don't know. Eat this thing. Okay, I picked up a red drop hoping there would be a shotgun in it, and no. The acro just kept following me now. Oh no, it's trying to chase me. Don't chase me over here, chase me this way. This guy was now in the water, and I didn't want it to drown or die to something stupid like this shark, so I took that out. Once it seemed alright, I teleported back home, finding I already had some shotguns. I just need a bunch of bullets. And on day 60, I got to crafting those bullets. It was going to take some time, so I thought I'd hatch up my wyvern egg. I brought the Dimensionodon inside to where my forges were, hoping the two of them would work, and it was still too cold. So I have to make a bunch of torches. Fortunately, I didn't need as many as you usually need to get the egg incubating. When they hatched, they came out with some very awesome colors that truly looked toxic. This one wasn't too smart though. Why are you going in the fire, little baby? What are you doing? Oh my gosh, this kid's stupid. What are you doing? You almost killed yourself. Jeez, so stupid. Come over here. Yeah, this dragon straight up did like what animals do when they like embarrass themselves and they do something dumb and then they just stand there and I'm like, you did it. You did it, little dummy. They were going to take some time to grow up and I probably should just leave them be, but just in case the health dropped too low or something, I wanted to be around to cryo it up. So I stayed around working on little projects in the background. I needed a lot more spark powder for gunpowder, so on day 61 I took my Anki out to get some flint. I was thinking, I got these gotchas like a bazillion days ago and at this point I haven't set them up properly yet. That would probably help me with my resource situation. I need more pegos and I spotted one up along the beach. Tamed it up easy enough with some berries. As I ran back, another one wanted to join the crew and stole some dye instead. I grabbed the berries off the other pego and when the new one decided to steal again, it was mine. These guys didn't let me know the beef they had with compies. Baby fights! Well, they took them out no problem. Alright, you guys did good. I had a building plan for the gotchas as well I wanted to implement hopefully soon after the main villa was built, which I was still working on. It's now day 62 and my poison wyvern was all grown up, and with my bench working hard to craft all these bullets I still had some time to burn. I named her Brittany and I went out to grab some drops. It's no Miguana, but it's a lot faster than what I was doing, so... Really? That's what I get in a red drop? Advanced bullets, only 13 too at that? What is that? Really? These red drops are butt, man. Like, I don't know. I think only maybe the red drops with the rings are worth it. You get better stuff from yellow and purple drops. This continued into day 63 and it was a lot of the same from the previous day. I almost considered making a pistol with how many advanced bullets I was getting from these red drops. Dude, these red drops suck. I had finally put my vault down with the Astraeos skin down to hold all the stuff I was acquiring. Out of everything I was getting, I really wasn't getting anything good. It was now day 64 and I was finally done crafting all the shotgun bullets I think I would need. I cryoed up Blurple Noper for the ride just in case I needed a little bit more mobility. Then I set off to Pyranthos to find the 150 acro I attempted to tame before. And it went as it normally does in Ark. I went to the location and I couldn't find him. So that means he died to something stupid, despawned, which is stupid, or drowned, which is also stupid. And that led me to a 150 female acro by the water. This area was not really a safe one. Being by this river there was Dinosuchus and probably Capros, which are little nasties that'll just take you off your mount. So I just have to be extra cautious with this one. There was another lower level acro with her I had to take out first. Alright, it's starting to do its defensive stance, so it does work. So for some reason it just wasn't working with me before. So it can work with the wyvern, huh? I was still feeling unsure, so I took out some more trees so I had more of a flat, clear area to do this in. I got some Battle Tartar in the drop which I consumed, which would give me 50% more movement speed and 15% damage resistance. That would definitely be useful if I needed to run. I tried shooting her into a defensive stance and it just wasn't happening again, and she was munching hard on Brittany, which also wasn't good. Leave Brittany alone. I think I can do it on the back of the wyvern. Let me try. Oh, she beating up my wyvern though. This kept on into day 65. After damaging her through the night, she finally did the stance.
Oh, she's doing it.
Unfortunately, I guess I ran out of time to damage her, or she ate something, since she stood upright again after she attacked me. This went on for most of the day. I was only able to get her into a defensive stance one other time by attacking her on Brittany, but the Acro was doing some serious damage and I didn't want to lose her. I'd stop to heal and then I'd try again.
Okay, that's defensive stance now. Come on. It takes a lot. It takes a lot. Dude, I can't do this. Like, I don't know. Like, I got her in defensive stance twice, but it almost killed my wyvern twice. I'm not doing enough damage. I guess I need a better shotgun. It's like, yeah, I think I just need a better shotgun. So I need to start looting some drops because yeah, my wyvern's almost dead. Yeah, I'm just not doing enough damage. The wyvern can't do enough damage. I mean, it's just like it's a brand new one, and it has a poison attack. Like, it would be better if I had a fire wyvern, maybe. You know, that might be what I need to do. I might need to get other wyverns and a better shotgun in order to tame these guys. But I mean, it's day like 64, 65, and I'm gonna need a boss dino. And if I want this to be the boss dino, I need some better stuff to tame it with. At this point, I had spent days preparing for this tame. A bazillion bullets, I had a wyvern to try and tank, and somehow I still just wasn't making any progress with this tame. So for now, I decided to admit defeat. I mean, while we're here, I can like look for drops, because I mean, it is the desert, so I mean, if they're like scorched drops, then they're probably better than the ones near me. Yeah, I guess we're looking for drops. We're just gonna be looking at purples and above. Since Rexes are so much easier to tame, maybe I should just go ahead and tame a pair of Rexes that are high level, just to have as backup, and then we'll go from there. Because yeah, I would really like to take these guys to the boss fight, but I just can't get them. At least at my current level, it's just not going to work. My current kit, it's just not going to work. It was now day 66, and the mission was to find a breeding pair of Rexes. I remember seeing a pretty blue one on Foquintos, and look at that, there he is. They were battling a family of stegos, and I decided to help him out. This got scary for me real quick. Ooh, I got no stamina.
Their spike attack zaps your stamina down to nothing, and I couldn't fly to take off.
That's not good at all, actually. Oh no, am I gonna lose this guy? Oh, I need to get away. I need to get away. Oh, I need to get away. Dang, that was almost really, really bad. Stegos are no joke, man.
Not to push my luck, but I dealt with the stegos from afar with my gun. Once they were down, this Rex proceeded to run around some more, eating everything. It was now near an astral, which I was not trying to tame it right next to this thing. So I started shooting it with darts to try and lure it into a better position. It was eventually alone, in which I trapped it with billboards, and then I knocked it out pretty quickly with my awesome rifle. This area was making me a little nervous, so I decided to give it the one kibble I had and some prime. I was very close to the Wyvern Island, so I was hoping the Rex would tame up fast enough that I'd be able to have a full night of searching. As the night chime came, the Rex tamed up. Had terrible health, but the melee wasn't too bad with 41 points. I took Blurple Nurple into the Wyvern's den, hoping to find more eggs, but the nests were all empty. So my plan was the same for the next 2 days. During the day, I'd look for high-level Rexes, and at night, I'd go Wyvern egg hunting. It didn't take long to find this 140 female on day 67 that I quickly trapped and tranked out. It came out with some decent health and atrocious melee. This is usually how it goes. Can't ever get good stats all in one. Made my night run through the trench, and there were no eggs again, except for this one level 90 fire egg. A fire wyvern would be nice, but I don't know if one at that level would be worth it. As quick as the night came, it was gone again. Now with an actual pair of Rexes, I figured I could find any other high level and it would just be extra at this point. Couldn't hurt to take one more look, and I ended up finding a 150 female Rex. So I quickly trapped and tranked it out. Using some mutton I found in a drop. Then I totally forgot about the sanguine elixir this whole time. I could have been adding 30% taming instantly to all these Rexes instead of taking all day to tame them. So I quickly crafted one up in Blurple Nurple's saddle and I gave it to the Rex. Once that it was up, I saw this Rex was a working Rex, as it was terrible in everything but weight and oxygen. Yeah, I don't need those. Also, for some reason, I thought this was female at first, which would have been better for more eggs, but it was a male. So a double bummer. Figured I'd pot it anyway to maybe find some use for it. Took myself to the Wyvern Trench at night and there were still no new eggs. There was this opening I hadn't explored yet. Since I checked everything already, I figured I might as well head in while I still had invisibility. I'd flown past this opening several times thinking it might have just been an artifact cave. Turns out, that was a mistake, because hidden inside was an entire second section of the trench, as well as many more wyverns. I was shocked to see that there was a whole other area for them. I'd have to leave for now, as I was going to be visible soon and I didn't want to get blasted from 27 different directions. I'd also need to come back here at some point for Talon, so I'll save this for another day. I need to get back home and start working on the Rex breeding line. And on day 69, I got my breeding pair of Rexes out, and while they got busy, I worked on making a wall for the backside of the villa, making a dino yard. These activities would carry over into the next day. I was originally going to wall off the underneath of the house, but I do enjoy some hidden dino storage as well. So I finished it off and made it look a little nicer to bring in many of my smaller dinos. It's now day 71 and Rex eggs don't bring all the boys to the yard, just my Dimetrodon. You heat or cook them eggs or cool them eggs or whatever you gotta do. Lots of Rex babies to pop out of the bunch of eggs I dropped, and now I had the long task of going through each one to get a male and a female pair with a higher health and melee. Well, you didn't get anything good, so let this be a lesson to any of you guys who don't want to have good stats. I kept any babies with both the good health and melee, as well as any females that had them as well. I kept the original parents going to possibly get some more females to have more opportunity for mutations, and to just have more Rex eggs for later leveling. Now they just had to grow up. While the future army of Astraeos was growing up, I continued turning my workshop into something a little bit more worthy of the gods. It's now day 72, my main structure still wasn't complete yet. I know, right? So I really shouldn't be starting any other build projects, but I needed a place for my gotchas to make their crystals. I thought it would be cool if they had like a little gotcha shrine area, which seemed fitting with the Greek mythology inspired map. To save time, I built a structure on a different world, then saved the template using the Lost Colony's template hammer. This allowed me to put down a blueprint and easily fill it in as long as I had the structures required. Well done. It took barely any time at all and the gotcha gazebo was complete. This was great as I had a few more that I needed to put on the grounds. Placed my gotcha pair inside with the Pego, and now I have passive resource collection. Look at that. Look, they look so happy in there. Look at them. They're so happy. Look at them. Should be good on most resources unless I need an abundant amount of something. I need to set some of the others for some more common resources, but these two would take care of some of the more annoying ones right away. Days 73 to 74 were a blend of a lot of background activities. I needed another Pego for a shrine, so I got two of them breeding for an egg, which I hatched right away in the dino yard. Little ugly thing. I set out my new sibling pair of breeding Rexes properly, naming them Zeus and Hera. Pretty accurate family tree. The rest of the Rexes were just going to be made into food for the future gods of war I would have. I'd have to wait a little for eggs, so I made another gotcha shrine for two more gotchas. I had another Rex from the original pair of Rexes that was the female with the good stats. I named her Demeter and had her join Zeus and Hera. The next 2 days I spent looking for good loot from drops. I was doing this the entire time I was handling the Rexes before, only I was grabbing the drops that were close by. Even with dedicated days to searching, I really wasn't getting anything useful. Mostly ammo for weapons I wouldn't use, or saddles for creatures I didn't want to tame. It just was not looking good. On day 77, I hatched a bunch more Rex eggs, pulling out all the babies with the good stats. No mutations, but these Rexes were looking to be my boss army. Armies need to eat, and these babies were quickly munching through the reserves. So I took out that extra Rex I tamed for some meat. I named them Orion and obliterated the island. Even with terrible stats, after chomping all over this island, they were pretty decent for meat runs. I got to work on a proper kitchen area on day 78, and I set up an industrial grill along with some refrigerators. I was loving these Astraeos skins for all the different structures. I'm gonna be honest, I'd take more map-themed building pieces over another overpowered creature any day. They just make the world feel more lived in, like you're actually trying to build up a civilization instead of just surviving here. It was now day 79 and I had a yard full of boss dinos that were going to need to be leveled and healed. I'd need more cryopods. I got the resources together, and once I did, I flew to a nearby drop to craft 20 cryopods. While I was sitting here waiting for my cryopod order, there was a Theory roaming about. Now, I had just raised a boss army, but I was kinda curious. They happened to be 135 male. Not the highest, but not bad either. I could just take a little peek. Once my pods were done, I picked them up with Brittany and dropped them off on my island. Trapped and tranked them out, which didn't take much with billboards, shock darts, and my rifle. Their stats weren't anything too crazy pre-tame, but we'll see. I dropped some kibble in them and let them be. Continuing my drop hunt through the night and into the following day. I came back home in the early morning hours of day 80 to find the Theory all tamed, and I didn't think this was going to be happening this late in the playthrough. That's really good health. And that melee is not bad at all, actually. Oh wow, do I need to go tame a female? That's not a bad theory at all. I might have to go find a female to tame. So I guess I was taming a female theory now. Like, I feel like I have to with stats like that. I'd also have to worry about veggie cakes, but I'll worry about that in the future. You know, sometime in the next 20 days. I went out to go look for female theories while collecting drops along the way. Watch me not find a single theory now. I just need a female. I'm not trying to get a high level one. Not soon after I said that, I found this 145 female. That's a 145 female. Oh my gosh. We're gonna get some good theories out of this. I quickly brought her home and she was really fond of the water, which was a little annoying since I couldn't trap her. So I just grabbed Blurple Nurple and I tranked out the theory on the back of that. I needed to up the resource production a little bit more since I was going to be needing armor, saddles, weapons, ammos, brews, and all kinds of things necessary for final fights. Even with the gachas, I was still lacking on some resources. I had a ton of stuff that I was never going to use, so I'd need to get a grinder together. Making one of those would most likely give me enough resources to make the other industrial items, or at least come close. So while the theory tamed up, I went on a metal run to get the rest of what I would need. On day 81, I finally crafted the industrial grinder. My workshop was looking pretty good now, and at this point, the next industrial item I would need would be the industrial forge. I was confident I had enough items to be able to craft it, but before I had start the long task of sorting through everything I collected so far, I figured it would be best to get my theories breeding. I grabbed up most of the things I collected to put them in the grinder, so the 1,000 mammoth saddles I got finally get their use. And as I predicted, I had enough for the industrial forge, so I got that crafted, then rearranged a few items to get that place down. Finally, I had a proper workshop. Doesn't look bad at all. Look at that. Workshop complete, I think. I was going to have to work on my proper kitchen next, and with one of my fridges full of Rex eggs, I crafted another one for more eggs. Industrial cooker was up next, but I knew I didn't have enough to make one. The grinder was completely full and I couldn't put any more items inside, so I spent the rest of the day sorting through the items. I crafted some library storage to organize all the blueprints I've collected so far. It was now day 82 and I was going to need an underwater mount for some artifact caves, and I was thinking about getting a Basilosaurus. They're great caving mounts that are strong with large health pools that replenish quickly, along with being immune to getting grabbed or electrocuted. They need exceptional kibble to tame, and I was hoping my metal was done smelting to be able to make the cooker, but it wasn't done yet. I didn't have much longer to go, so I thought I'd level up some boss Rexes. I started with naming the guys Ares and the girls Persephone. Hatched some baby Rexes to get levels quickly, but it just wasn't working. So this is another thing with PvE mode, you can't kill other players' dinos, and even though I hatched them, they're unclaimed, so it counts as another player's dino. So I turned it back off so I could get my levels. Unfortunately with that, it brings cryo timers. Very annoying. I could go out and go find astrals to kill, but I have to spend time searching for them, and yeah, just hatching baby Rexes is the fastest way to level these guys up. So my goal was to have the Rexes level before starting artifact caves. While eggs were hatching, I went out to try and find a Basilosaurus. I wasn't trying to find the highest level, just something decent. I thought I could make a gene scanner to help me search for them, but after all this time, I was short 2 black pearls. Well, who needs a gene scanner when you got photo mode? I was finding some, but not very good levels. There was a point where I thought I found some black pearls, but these shells just gave silica pearls. Many of the same activities were happening on day 83, but now I had enough metal to make the industrial cooker, but not enough oil. So I took the Archelon out to get myself some oil when I had a thought. I mean, what if I took this thing in the caves? I don't think that... I don't know. It might work. They're strong against jellies. If there's jellies in the caves, it'll actually buff me. It was something to consider if I couldn't find a decent level Basilo. I got my oil, and while I was down there, I decided to take out this Astral Megalodon as a test. Jelly's coming in to power me up. Power me up, Jelly. I was doing pretty decent damage on it despite getting pushed back. Alright. We took it down. Did we get anything good? Funny enough, I got a blueprint for an Ascendant Archelon saddle, but oh man, was this thing expensive. That's a lot of metal. That's a lot of metal, and I'd rather use it on Rex saddles. When I got back to base, I crafted up the industrial cooker, which needed a water source. So before I went through that process, I hatched up some theories to see if I got any with the good stats, and out of the group I managed to get a pair. These two would provide the second part of my army. I started off day 84 gathering a bunch of berries for the theories, since these things blast right through them. I then set up a water intake with a tank for the industrial cooker. It was slightly outside the range of the other generators, so I made another one real quick to place beside it, so I could power it up. Then I got to cooking exceptional kibble for some Basilo tame. Kept on grabbing red drops, hoping for some saddle blueprints, but I was mostly getting the same things with the occasional good armor drop. It was now night, and I figured I'd have an easier time trying to tame one because I'd be able to avoid all the jellies that might creep up on me. Of course, that would also make visibility bad for everything else. I had flippers, so I felt like I could get out of the water quickly if that happened. Fortunately, I found a 135 basslet just swimming about and I tamed it up with kibble. It's a passive tame, so I just kind of had to wait around until it was hungry again. But it only took 2 feeds. There we go, we got it. Your stats look like, ooh, that's good health. That's good health. Stamina is really good too. That's a good bassy. I saddled it up with a Mastercraft saddle I got from a drop and I cryoed it until I needed to go cave diving. And now it was day 85. After almost 50 days of building my villa, it was finally complete. Out front was a massive courtyard with a fountain and a statue overlooking the entrance. Inside, I had a workshop with everything I need for the final stretch. Industrial forge, grinder, chemistry bench, even my gotchas were tucked inside, constantly producing resources. The kitchen was fully stocked with an industrial cooker, refrigerators, and a grill to keep an army fed. The place was so spacious, I could literally park a wyvern inside. Upstairs was my bedroom, which admittedly didn't have as much in it because I had spent all my time building literally everything else and not spending too much time sleeping. Out back was a balcony overlooking the dino yard and a view of the beautiful Astraeos. I even had a hidden dino storage underneath the villa. Not a bad place to call home. Except for this Brano that apparently decided he lives here now. I had this picture in my head since the beginning of the playthrough and it was really cool finally seeing it finished. Big day with my build being finished and I got another female Theory with good stats I can raise to get double the eggs producing. I was going to need to grind for boss tributes and artifacts, so I made a storage box to hold these things. Then I took a look to see what I had already. It wasn't much. I also had to level my boss dinos, which I did in the background using Rex babies to get those levels quickly. I wanted to work on some Thyla hooks on day 86 as well as look for a Uteranus to tame for the boss fight. So I set a course for Pyranthos since I had seen Thylas out there and I had hoped to find some Uties. I looted a red drop that gave me a ramshackle compound bow which would be useful in some of my upcoming fights. Shortly after, I found my first Thyla to steal some hooks. Then I must have found a Thyla den, as I could quickly get the rest of the hooks I needed from this place alone. That's all our claws that we need. With that done, I had turned my attention to looking for a good level Uti. I would have to fight the King Scorpion soon, so this would be a good time to mark down any if I found any. I searched around many of the cliffs and mountains with not a Uti to be found. I eventually came upon another Wyvern Scar, which is good to know since I need to farm claws soon as well. I did creep a little close to see if there was any easy to spot eggs for grabbing, but I couldn't see any. This is probably another artifact cave. There's a couple of them. But, I mean, my plan is to kind of zoom through them because I have a Desmodus. So hopefully that will work okay, but we shall see. If not, I'll have to tame another cave creature. There's a whole part of the island I hadn't explored yet, and it had lots of cliffs and mountains where Utis like to hang. Apparently not desert Utis because I couldn't find any. So that concluded my search on Pyranthos. On day 87, I hatched a bunch of boss Theories, making sure the bin had enough berries to feed these little monsters. I then set off to Limnakis for Theories and Utis. I saw a bunch of Theories here last time, so getting the claws should be no problem. I think that's it. I think I got all the claws I need. I kept making my way up north, slowly entering Uti territory and finding a 145. So that's perfect. I attempted to trap it with billboards, which didn't work out so well for me. The turning radius was terrible on Brittany, and it just kept raining Carnos. No. Man. Oh. Oh my gosh! Jeez! Any more? I don't think there's any more jumping off this cliff, hopefully not. I don't know. I'm just gonna try and shoot it. No, where are you going? This led me into the next day. Eventually, I just decided to trank it out off the back of Brittany, but I kept missing a lot of the shots. It wasn't working too great since Brittany's head kept moving around, and so I busted out Blurple Nurple to shoot off the back of them. I did get spooked, but it wasn't too bad because I wasn't near water or anything. Alright, that's okay. At a certain point, I had to run them down, and they eventually fell. I needed some bug pats to make some sanguine elixir, and that came in the form of these mammoths and ankies. They had babies which I used for prime to feed the Yudi. Didn't want to take any chances, so I sat here healing up Brittany while the Yudi tamed up. No, that's terrible. It had some awful stats, but it was going to have to do. When I came home to the Theory babies, only one had grown up and the rest appeared to have vanished. Starved into oblivion, it looks like. So that's a bummer, since I was hoping to take on some mini-bosses soon. But I need to raise another batch of them. So I threw out what eggs I had to hatch, and I got prepped to go mess up some wyverns for their claws. I got this turret in a drop, and I thought it could be useful taking down many wyvern. Plus, I never tried this out before, so I thought it could be fun. I picked up a generator and bullets, and I set off to the trench. I placed down a foundation and the generator only to get to the turret, and I realized I messed up. Oh, I have to mount it. Oh, it's the wrong one. I thought it was the auto turret. Never mind. Alright, well, this is all pointless. I thought I had an auto turret which does just that, automatically turrets stuff. This one I had to sit on and shoot manually. There was a moment where I considered using it, but it had such a limited range of motion that I'd have to hope I could kill any wyvern before they got to me. So I was going to have to fight using Blurple Nurple. But Phoenix, you got a wyvern, why not use that to fight them? Well, it's cause I got one of the worst ones. The poison attack isn't so great at damage, even if it hits, so that would just leave me with the bite, which is a pain to do with the large turning radius against wyverns that were probably going to use their special attacks. I was hoping with the Desmoda's maneuverability I'd be able to use a combination of the bat and my weapons to take them out. I was mostly afraid of the lightning, but I had to get this done. Okay, I can eat its tail. Their poor turn radius made it so I was able to just nip at their tails until they were dead. The next day I continued to take out each type with the same method. Oh, that was easy. At some point I grabbed up that level 90 fire egg to try and draw some of them out. I got all the talons I needed, but I figured since I was here, why not try looking for some more eggs? And after a day of taking these guys out, I was pretty confident in my abilities to fight whoever I needed. Well, this turned out to be my downfall. Caught a lightning attack from a high-level wyvern that nearly zapped all my health. I was also bogged down by all this spoiled meat, so this didn't work out too well for me. Oh, Blurple died. Oh no. I pulled out my rifle to try and shoot, but it took 62 business days to load and I got zapped into oblivion. Oh, I died. Oh. And that's what happens when you get greedy. Should have left when I was ahead. I went back with Brittany to get my stuff, but the 170 lightning was around, which I tried to fight. I knew this wasn't going to work out, and I knew I was faster, so I just led it into a different direction so I'd have enough time to get my stuff. I picked up my generator as well before heading back home. There was another dead Theory waiting for me because these guys just eat berries way too fast. I spent the rest of the night gathering enough berries to hopefully feed this batch of Theories because this was it. I needed these ones to grow up or else I'd have no Theories and I would have just wasted all this time. Yes, I still had Rexes, but I think that Theories would give me the extra edge I needed for all these colossal fights ahead. With the bin loaded up with berries, no one should be starving to death now. It was day 90 and I didn't have a single artifact with my cave mount Blurple Nurple succumbing to the lightning. This would have been really bad, except I had a bat breeding farm with a bazillion bats to pick from. I picked one naming it Blurple Not Nurple, and it already had a bunch of levels from being here for so long. This was a day for healing since I didn't want to lose this bat right away, so I stuck around to watch the babies grow up. I decided to hatch that fire egg I got. Not really needing one now, but who knows, maybe it would come out with some really good stats. Well, fire baby, oh, so bad. It wasn't anything great, but at least I was here to imprint these Theories this time. They were okay on food and growing fine, so I felt like I could leave for a quick trip since I would need some veggie cakes. And veggie cakes need honey. A lot of times on the DLC maps, they put specific areas for weird resources. But there's probably a honey cave, and I'm going to do some research and figure out if that's a thing. Because I need to make veggie cakes for these guys to heal up. Turns out I was right. They did have a honey cave, and it wasn't too far from where I lived. So I made a quick trip over to the honey cave. There were some bug baddies in here, but nothing too crazy. Used my chainsaw on the hive to get more honey than I'll ever need. Honey, let's go. Once I was back home, I got to crafting the case before the honey went bad since it had such a short spoil timer. I had to first make some stimulants in the chemistry bench, and then we were baking. I needed to get going on some artifacts, so my goal on day 91 was to grab all the ones for the Cyclops Thodes. So I grabbed some stuff to go caving, and I went to my first cave on Thrakus. My caving mount was going to be Blurple Not Nurple, and I had hoped with Cactus Broth and Antidotes active, I'd be able to go through this cave pretty easily. It was very hot in here, but the Cactus Broth helped me keep a little cooler. I zoomed through the lava cave to get to the end where a statue of the Cyclops was standing over the artifact of the pack. Grabbed it and teleported to the island of Fokintos for my next cave. This one had a doorway and immediately put me in a room with a bunch of bug baddies, but it was nothing I couldn't handle. Then there was a bunch of doorways I couldn't go through on the bat.
Can we fit in here? No. Well, good thing we got cryos.
So I cryoed them up and then I released them on the other side. You know me, these feet don't touch the ground if they don't have to. I navigated over some death traps and more hallways to eventually come to a large room where the artifact was held. Of course I had to get rid of all the baddies first before I could grab the artifact of the Devourer.
Okay, we're just gonna teleport out of here, buddy.
The last cave was an underwater one that I didn't want to do right at this moment because I'd need to set up an underwater caving kit. So I decided to get one of the artifacts for the Gorgon boss creature Natrix, which took me to Corinthos. It was a pretty short cave, but the artifact was guarded by some Minotaurs and a Desmodus. I'd have to get rid of the Desmodus first because it could easily go really bad for me if I left them hanging, and it almost did. I shot at it to lead it over and thought I could kill it before it got to me, but it ended up picking me up. Nope. I shot it again to make it drop me, and I guess it was kind of lucky I landed in the water.
Oh, this is not good. This is not good. Hopefully there's nothing in this water.
Little did I know these waters had some big old gators in them.
Ooh!
Fortunately, I was quick with the whistling of my bat, and I managed to jump on them before getting absolutely wrecked.
Ooh, that was scary.
Ooh, that was scary. Now I just needed to lead these Minotaur off the cliff into the water, and the artifact of the hunter was mine. That was 3 artifacts in one day thanks to the Desmodus. So this was looking like I was going to be able to finish grabbing up the rest in time for these 100 days. It's now day 92 and I did all that with the full confidence in the Desmodus, but maybe I should go a little bit more prepared this time. So I made some grapples in case I was in a dicey situation again. I noticed my fire weapon was fully grown and I used it to grab some red drops.
Lots of horns. Oh my god.
It barely could make it back to the island because its stamina was so bad. It's got those smoker's lungs. Once it caught its breath, I parked it in the courtyard where it would most likely remain for the rest of the 100 days. I hatched up some Rex eggs to level up some Theres, naming the girls Athena and the boys Apollo. I cryoed them up to heal faster, then grabbed the grapples I made and set off to Pyranthos. I wanted to do the caves for the Manticore's artifacts, the first cave holding 2 of them. I had to fight my way through some bats, but nothing too crazy. I made my way to the end where the artifact of the crag was. This cave did have another that I missed since I couldn't find the turn, so I was in here for a good bit before finding the correct path to lead me to the artifact of the gatekeeper. I had to fly over some open desert to get to the final Manticore cave, and I spotted some giant boss scorpions. So once I did the cave, I could come back here to take one out. I really didn't like that this one was near a death worm, so I'd hoped that thing would go away before I came back. I reached the artifact cave in the early morning of day 93, and as soon as I went in, I found a solution to some of my problems.
Oh, there's big scorpions in here.
It'd be a lot easier to take out one of these king scorpions in here than out in the open. I considered throwing some Theres down there, but I didn't know what would potentially come at them. Plus, I'd have to get them back out by going down there myself. I figured I could just hang and shoot at it, finally getting to try out my compound bow.
Like if I do like this, and then like this. Oh, this is perfect. Alright, we're gonna try and take this guy out then. You know what? This works. Because these things are supposed to be nasty. They're supposed to have like lead attacks and poison attacks, and so yeah, if I can avoid touching this thing, I will. I used up all my arrows, and with one last shot from my rifle, I defeated the Scorpion King. But the king is down. Look at this nasty thing. Ooh.
I still had to keep moving on as this cave had an artifact. I then came across my first cave drop, hoping for something good, and I got fish. Like, the drops just aren't doing it for me. Shortly after, I found the artifact guarded by some snails, so I was going to have to be extra careful grabbing this one. I managed to safely drop down, grabbing the artifact of the destroyer. That means all the Manticore artifacts and trinkets have been collected so we could summon them. I had a few more things that needed to be done before that though. I needed to gather corrupted nodules and hearts, so off to Therakas I go. I kept fighting lightning stegos, which I didn't want to fight since I was still dealing with the trauma. So a trike seemed perfect to me. I took it out and surprisingly I got all the nodules I needed from one. So now I needed corrupted hearts, which is a little annoying since they're usually dropped from the bigger predators like Rexes, Spinos, Gigas, and Wyverns. Sometimes even a Parasaur. I really had no business fighting a Giga or Wyvern, so my hope was to find one of the other ones. Unfortunately, I searched for a while, not finding any. I took out some lightning carners hoping they would drop some, but that didn't work. Thanatos was also on the prowl, so a quarter of the island was off limits to me as well. I really wanted to fight the mini bosses before taking on some of the world bosses, but if I can't find these lightning creatures, I'd be beat. was now day 94 and I didn't want to waste any more time, so I continued my artifact hunt, this time heading underwater. Stopped at the base first to grab any underwater equipment I might need, then flew to the cave coordinates. I airdropped myself in, then threw out my Basilo when I hit the water.
Alright, here we go.
It was a pretty big and open cave that didn't really have too much going on. That was until I reached a pair of very high level Moses.
I ain't fighting those. Alright, I guess I do gotta fight them. 240? That's insane, no way. Nah, I ain't fighting those.
Thought I could stand my ground, but this was one of those fights that was best to flee, so I did. I was just slightly faster, and I mean slightly faster than them, as they were nipping at my tail. I tried catching them up on some walls to slow them down, but it was just too open in here. Eventually I made my way to an even larger chamber where they seemed to lose interest.
Finally lost them.
I found an underwater structure that would eventually take me to the artifact. So I crowded up my Vasi and I went in. It brought me to a puzzle that usually has a problem being bugged out on single player. So a quick relog and everything will work as it should.
And then there's the stands. Alright, cool.
I had to press buttons in the correct order to open a door. The statues in the next room gave me clues to that order. So I pressed each one until another door opened into a room containing the artifact of the brute. I then teleported out close to my next underwater cave and dove right in. Before I went in the cave, I was met with a pack of sharks, which this was great as this would give me the rest of the teeth I needed for tributes. I then went to enter the cave, only there was a problem.
For some reason I can't go in here. It's weird. It's like an invisible wall or something? What's going on?
Seems like there was an invisible wall and I couldn't go inside, at least not with the Basilo. It was weird, I was even walking along the floor at some point. So I just crowded up the Basilo and threw them back out on the other side where there was actually water.
Alright, that worked. That was weird.
The cave was small with a bunch of little crevices and the artifact wasn't too far in at all. Just right there on the ground. Grabbed up the artifact of the clever and I teleported out. I now had all the artifacts needed for Thodes and the Manticore, so I could fight those two, but I needed to take down these guys' names I'm not even going to try and pronounce. They're mini bosses who are supposed to drop good loot and maybe I can get some good saddle BPs. I had to try for this fight first, but I still needed corrupted hearts. The last minute grind was real and I was running out of time. It is now day 95. Anyone prone to seizures, avert your eyes because on this day, my game was having a bit of a disco flash problem. There was an update to the game that broke my Astraeos skins, but only the ceilings. They blink on and off constantly. So I needed to quickly fix that with a set of new floor tiles. I headed back to Thrakas figuring my best bet was to hang around Spinus for some lightning damage to show up that I can kill for some corrupted hearts. Eventually some lightning paracers showed up and I killed all of them, getting me the hearts I needed. Guess it just took me loading it in the other day, or maybe it was just luck. This took most of the day, and with night coming soon, I figured I'd hit up my last artifact cave for Natrix. I had a bit of a hard time finding this one because it was tucked away and it was getting dark, but eventually I found the little entrance. So small my bat couldn't fit through. Good thing I have cactus broth to hide my presence from the bug baddies because it would at least allow me to get the jump on them. I tried every step of the way to fit the Desmodus in places it would not fit. This cave was forcing me to run it through on foot.
Some of these things might be up in the ceiling.
I eventually made it to an open room where I could take out everything with Plurple Not Nurple. I had to hit different buttons in this room to unlock the next, and one of them being next to a drop that didn't have anything useful in it. After hitting all the buttons, a door opened to an underground water pit. I put my flippers and scuba on and I jumped in. I was so fast zooming through here I was losing frames. At the end of the passage it held the artifact of the massive.
Nice.
I thought I had another one to do for Natrix, but realized when I got back I already did it. I probably just blocked it from memory because I almost died. This meant I had all the artifacts and tributes for the 3 bosses as well as the tributes for Ramatheon and Caledonios. I'm just gonna call them Eric and Cal. And on day 96 I went to go fight Eric and Cal. I had to go all the way to the northwest on Limnakis. Once I was there, I took out an Astral RG pretty quickly since I didn't need this guy bothering me while I was trying to take on my next boss fight. I unloaded 10 Theries and I had my Yudi as well. I was hoping these guys would shred through the bosses like they shred through berries, especially with a Yudi buffing them. I loaded the tributes up into the mini boss terminal and summoned the boss duo.
Pack them, get them.
I had to worry about fire damage from the one and torpor gas from the other. I was equipped with a gas mask and as long as I kept my Yudi out, it should be okay. I had no clue how much health these boars had, but it felt like this was taking forever. The theories were working them, but they were getting pretty banged up.
Alright, that one's almost down. Oh, I keep catching myself on fire.
The poison boar finally fell. Then everything started falling apart.
Oh no, one of them died.
As soon as the poison boar dropped, I lost my first theory.
Everybody else is in on the other one here. Get him.
Then they proceeded to drop after that, with the remaining boar having almost 75% health left. I just had to hope with the remaining ones, all of them focused on them, they would take them out quickly.
Oh, we're losing theories. This is not good. Come on, guys. You're doing good. Oh no, we got another one down.
Eventually, there was 3 theories left battling. At some point, I checked to see if I had anything else in my inventory to throw at it, and I threw a stego out, which died almost instantly.
Get in there, stego. Oh, that's stego. No. Okay, we got 2 left.
I had to do something. Pretty soon, this guy was going to turn on me. So I cryoed up my Yudi, and I jumped on my Desmodus to try and shoot it from the sky. The boar started to run away. When it did that, something unfortunate happened. It had a full health bar now. With no theories left, I wouldn't be able to defeat this guy by myself.
It took all my theories. No.
It seemed to be confined within a certain space near the terminal. I wasn't sure if this boar was going to stay or despawn, but I just have to take that chance now. So I grabbed up the saddles and I had to retreat for now. I was close to an artifact cave, so I decided to do a quick run through it while I was here. It was an ice cave, and usually with that come with the Perlovias that can dismount me. Luckily for me, it was now night, so I could just zoom through this cave without being seen. Honestly, this was the way to do caves, and now I had the artifact of the Skylord. On day 97, I grabbed up another set of Theories and some Rexes, and I brought it back to the Piggy terminal to finish this boss fight. It was a mix of relief and fear for me because I was glad this idiot was still running around and I didn't have to gather more tributes, and fear because I was afraid that this wouldn't be enough. 10 more Theories and some Rexes should be enough, right? I just started chucking everything out I had, and round 2 on this fight had begun. This went way better, and they smoked his fire butt to ash. When I checked the fireboard, they had almost 1 million health. No wonder it took so long. But that made me feel better about these Theories. I was awarded with many good saddles and armor, but nothing I really needed. Even got some element, which I don't think I would need during this run either. The most valuable thing that I got here was I could check off another boss off my list. Originally, I wanted to take on some world bosses before gathering the remaining artifacts, but the Piggy setback changed it up on me. So like most of this run, I adapted to what I was thrown, and I decided to find the rest of the artifacts for the Hydra boss. I went to a poison cave and I flew through it until there was a tight squeeze. I got on foot to grab the artifact of the immune. Then I had one more underwater cave to do. Well, it was sort of an underwater cave. Some would say you had to be a little cunning to get through it. I only had one artifact left and a bunch of bosses to defeat. I didn't want it to happen this way, but hopefully I was strong enough to take on all these beasts back to back. Day 98 was here, and first up was the Cyclops, Thodes the Widowmaker. I unloaded my army of Rexes and Theories onto the obelisk as well as my Yudi, then uploaded my tributes to head to the boss arena. As soon as I got in, he came rushing at me with a huge blow.
Oh, he hits me. Alright, now from what I understand, I have to hit him in the face. There we go. Oh, they melting him. They melting him.
Once I shot him enough times in the face, his bar started depleting quickly.
There we go.
This was going well, until it wasn't.
Oh, snap. I got stunned. I'm like, trapped. Okay. That's cool, I guess.
So I was just kind of stuck here for a moment, and while I was getting back to my Yudi, my group finished off Thodes.
Oh, they did it. that was kind of whack, but they did it. Alright, nice. There we go. Oh, they barely took any damage at all. Easy.
Time to take down the Gorgon Natrix the Devious. I had to move my crew down a little so I could get out, and one of my Rexes was just floating in the air.
You good?
So I cryoed it up and I couldn't throw it back out, so hopefully I don't need this one. I kept whistling everyone forward until finally seeing a health bar.
Oh, dang.
This boss was supposed to be able to stun you, so I wanted to stay far away. As soon as they saw her, they started blending her up.
Oh, this is great. This is great. We're doing good. All the dead bodies flying everywhere. That's it.
And that was another boss down.
All these little statues and stuff. This is so cool. How many Cyclopses was you taking out, Medusa? Oh, man. Here we go.
It was now day 99, I had one last artifact to get, and this was good since it would give the Rexes some time to heal up before the next battles. Unfortunate for these Theries since they get no rest. Well, they get cakes, so it's kind of a fair trade-off. I took them to Pyranthos for the Artifact of the Strong. This artifact was unique because I had to test my strength against the mini-boss, Minotaurkos. I couldn't use cryos in the temples, so I'd have to get everyone out first before heading inside. Once I was inside, I had to do a little test asking me what the correct name of the map was.
'Tis Astraeos.
Then a door opened where I had to try and get all these Theries through, and of course they have to stand up taller than they ever have before. Why are you guys doing that?
Alright, so we're just gonna take each one by one. That's okay.
So then I had to start the long task of guiding them down single file. I walked through a bunch of different turns until I made it to a green lair. I had to be extra careful walking them through as one misstep could mean death.
Now we just gotta do this a bazillion more times.
But eventually I got each one to the boss terminal. I paid my tributes and I summoned the boss. I put some cakes on the Theries and hoped it'd be enough for this one.
Get him!
They charged in clawing at him while I offered some help from the sky.
Alright, they getting him. Alright, they smoking him. They smoking him. Look at that. Oh, you guys are good.
This dude was strong, but my Theries were stronger. And that's another one down, and the last mini-boss. The Theries looked alright, but a few of them had downed some cakes, so that's how hard this guy was hitting. As I was packing them up, I found the bag with the Artifact of the Strong, and some loot containing a better chest piece. I think if I had less Theries, this could have been really bad, but I'll be honest, I kinda like getting my artifacts this way instead of just doing the caves. Making my way through and fighting the final mini-boss took me most of the day, and I wanted to try and make it back to the obelisk to fight my next world boss. I was, however, having a tough time deciding whether to fight the Manticore or the Hydra. I didn't have any flyers for this fight, so I was worried about the Manticore taking too long to land and my army getting their health zapped from being in the fight too long. The Hydra was supposed to be a monster all on its own, with each head containing a different elemental ability. Fire, lightning, poison, frost, and blindness. This could go very bad for me very quickly. I had to decide which would leave my army with more health in the end, as I was out of time. The dawn of day 100 was here, and after weighing the options, I chose to fight the Manticore first, hoping luck was on my side.
Alright, boys and girls, let's try to do this before lunch.
I hoped by staying on the platform with everyone on passive, the Manticore would eventually come over to land.
Hope he just lands over here. Just land over here, bud.
I just have to hope it was before I fell asleep. Not just because it was taking so long for it to land, but its text literally gives torpor. Eventually he landed right on the edge, and I felt like I took the full brunt of the scorpion tail to the face, but everyone started chomping on it. I didn't do as much damage as I would have liked, since barely half of them could hit him. I'd have to drop down, which meant I'd have to worry about death worms and rock golems that spawn.
Oh, they're getting him pretty fast.
As long as I kept moving around and keeping the group on him when he lands, this would work.
Back this one. Back him. This is probably the last one. That's it. There we go. They're chomping on him. Oh, they don't even have... He barely did any damage to anybody. Wow.
And that was another boss down with one more to go. The Hydra monster, Hydraskos. I was going to need all my might for this one, so I spent part of the day topping off my Rexes by feeding them meat for heals. I was hoping brute force was enough for this fight. Then once we were ready, I loaded up the terminal with artifacts and hit the button for the final time. I barely could get on my mount in time before this monster came barreling over. I I was almost stuck in a really bad situation, taking fire and torpor damage right at the start.
Get me out of here. Get me out of here. Oh. Okay.
But I got out and then courage roared my army through it.
Hey, you guys are doing good. Well, you're almost there. You're almost there. There we go. That's it.
We did it!
I don't know why this guy's so mad. It's so nice here.
And that's the final Guardian boss of Astraeos beaten in 100 days. There was, however, one thing left. It brought me back to where this whole journey first humbled me, Thrakus, the place where I had my very first death. Seemed fitting for my final confrontation to fight the final boss, Thanatos, the god of death. So I headed there to wait. You never know when death's gonna show up, huh? As soon as he showed up, I started chucking out everything I had. Theres, Rexes, I even put the Wyverns into battle.
Oh, they're hitting him.
Well, I didn't even get the whole army out and they were already creaming him.
Get him. The Wyverns are in there. They doing it. This guy's not doing nothing. Oh, we got him. We did it. That was it. That's all it took. We did it. We beat everybody. We beat them all.
Funny, my first death was here, and it ends with Death's death. In the background, I worked on a hero stand to display all I had conquered here on Astraeos these past 100 days. It's been a lot, and I'm proud of what I accomplished on this massive map despite the challenges changing many times. Overall, I had an amazing time, and if you did too, let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the adventure, be sure to give it a like, and consider subscribing for more 100 Days videos. And check out some of the other ones I got right here since you're done with this one. Take care and see you in the next one.